Hi there. It's me, Finn. And tonight, we're going way back to the chill of the north, to the days when Vikings sailed the seas, swung their axes, and snored gently in their smoky, warm wooden homes. Yup, we're going to slowly explore what it was like to sleep in a Viking longhouse, and more. Now, many people know what Vikings looked like, maybe even what they wore, or how they fought. But, have you ever wondered, what did their homes smell like? What sounds echoed in the cold night while they rested? Where did the children sleep? And what if the chickens were snoring next to you? Would you even get any sleep at all? Tonight, let's find out together. Let's start. But before we sail into the silence of that longhouse, you might want to subscribe, just so you don't miss the next cozy history drift. Alright now, let's slip in quietly. The wind was always close. You could hear it crawling across the wooden slats of the walls like a whisper. Not angry, just there, steady, like the sea that gave the Vikings their name. Inside a Viking longhouse, the world was different. You didn't just walk into a home, you stepped into a wooden ship, planted firmly on land. The walls were tall, curving slightly inward, made of thick timbers covered in grass turf, packed earth, even seaweed if needed. Yup, seaweed. It helped block the wind. Smart, huh? Now, let's open the old wooden door, creak, step inside. Take a breath in. What's that smell? Smoke from the fire in the center. A little mossy. Maybe some boiled cabbage from earlier still lingers in the air. And then there's wool, dried fish, warm animal skins, and a little something else, the sharp tang of iron tools, stacked neatly near the benches. It's warm, but it's not quiet, not yet. The fire crackles, someone coughs gently in the dark, a baby whimpers, then goes quiet again. Pause, and the chickens, yes, they're in here too, along with maybe a goat or two. They've found their corners, bundled in straw, some even under the bench, sleeping. Like everyone else, the Viking longhouse wasn't divided the way our homes are. There weren't bedrooms, doors, hallways, no lamps glowing softly by the bedside, just one long space, maybe 20 to 30 meters, full of life, full of breath. Now imagine this, it's night, and your family is with you. Maybe 10-15 people, all lying on wooden platforms that ran along each side of the longhouse walls, covered in sheepskins, in furs. There were no pillows really. They may have used rolled-up cloaks, or even just their arms. And above you, you'd see the beams of the roof, blackened with years of smoke, and sometimes, little holes in the thatch would let you see the stars. But mostly you'd see shadows, dancing gently with the firelight. Now, let's lie down. You'd pull your wool cloak around your body, tuck your hands under your chest, feel the warmth of others nearby, sometimes too nearby. And yes, the smell was strong, but you got used to it. The Vikings weren't dirty, like many think. They had combs, they bathed in rivers, but still, after a day of fishing, farming, building boats, well, you smelled like the sea, the earth, and the fire. Now, here's a little detail many don't think about. Sleep didn't come all at once. They used something called segmented sleep. It means they often woke up in the middle of the night. Sometimes they prayed, sometimes they told stories, sometimes they just stared into the fire and listened to the wind. It's peaceful, isn't it? The idea of not rushing sleep, of letting the night stretch wide, like the fjords, letting your mind wander, drift. Now, listen closely. You hear that? That's the sound of wood creaking as the house breathes with the wind. Not scary, just there. Someone moves nearby. You hear the rustle of straw. Maybe a foot shifting under a fur. A mother pulls her child closer. A man turns over, his chainmail clinking softly from where he hung it above his head. And through the smoke hole above, the moonlight peeks through. Silver and soft, it lands gently on a wooden carving. Maybe a figure of Odin, or Thor, protecting the family as they sleep. It wasn't just decoration. To the Vikings, those carvings held power, protection in the night, Because even a warrior needs rest. Even the fiercest fighters had quiet hearts under the stars. Now, let's talk about the fire again. It never went out. Not really. The central hearth was the heart of the longhouse. You'd keep it glowing, with slow-burning logs, so it always gave off just enough heat and light. That way, if you woke, you wouldn't see darkness. You'd see the glow, maybe even the soft shape of your father's boots near the fire, or your sister's braids resting over the side of the bench. And sometimes, there'd be whispers, little stories passed along, because stories were the stars of the Viking night. They told tales of sea monsters, of great ships with dragon heads, of fjords so wide you couldn't see the end, and all this, while the fire cracked gently, and the snow fell outside, and then, sometimes, you'd dream, maybe of sailing far from home, maybe of harvesting honey from a hillside hive, or catching fish with your bare hands. Even in dreams, the Viking world was close to the earth. Warmth, family, the sea, it all wove together like threads in their thick cloaks. And the chickens, still there, still sleeping, still part of the home. And now, we drift like a small Viking ship in still waters. No sails, just the stars above, and the gentle breath of the longhouse, in and out, like yours. And the night continues, but so does the story. The fire was still glowing, low now, just a soft orange hush, pulsing across the dusty floor of the longhouse. You could still hear it pop, crack, that warm wood sigh. Outside the wind had shifted. You couldn't hear it quite as much now, only the way the rafters moaned gently, like they were stretching in their sleep. The longhouse was quiet, but not silent, never silent. A child mumbled in their sleep, someone nearby adjusted their cloak, and the leather creaked softly under them. A dog lifted its head, sniffed the air, blinked once, and laid it back down. Mornings came slowly in Viking lands, especially in winter. You could sleep through the dark, and still wake in darkness, and that was normal. Vikings lived by the sun when they could, but they weren't ruled by it. If the body was tired, they rested. If it wasn't, they told stories, sharpened blades, or carved little things into bone or wood. Tiny animals, long ships, swirling dragons, soft breath. Somewhere in the corner, an old man had stayed awake by the hearth. He liked it that way. He'd pull his cloak tight and hum under his breath. Songs passed down from his father and his father's father before him. And he wasn't alone. Across the hall, the oldest daughter of the house sat up quietly. She was checking a stew pot she had buried in the embers the night before. She gave a quiet smile. It hadn't burned. She stirred it gently with a carved stick, not to wake the others, just enough to smell it. Barley, a little fish, herbs from last summer, dried and saved. A simple meal, but warm. Let's step softly now, across the floor. Bare feet on old wood. You feel the straw underfoot. It's itchy, sure, but it keeps the cold out. And you tiptoe between boots, buckets, a sleeping cat. There's a row of tools tucked near the door. A spear not for war, but for fishing. An axe, sharper than you'd expect. Even a comb, made of bone. Vikings took pride in looking neat. Every Saturday, lagerdager, or bath day, they washed, they combed, they even made their own soap, tallow, ash, water. Basic. You find a spot near the fire now. It's the best place in the house. Not too hot, not too far from the center. This spot is usually taken by the head of the household, but he's out fishing this morning, so you sit and listen. Outside the longhouse, snow is falling. Not hard, just little flakes, soft as feathers. And as it hits the turf roof, it makes no sound, but the world gets a little quieter. Back inside, two boys are waking up. One sits up groggily and stretches his arms. The other rolls onto the floor and shuffles toward the back wall, where a small leather bucket waits. Yes, even Vikings needed chamber pots. They weren't glamorous, but they worked. Once he's done, he pours it into the ditch that runs under the longhouse. A clever thing. The longhouse wasn't just a box with a roof. There was a channel beneath the floor, for runoff, waste, sometimes even for cooling ale barrels. Ale, Ah yes, Vikings drank ale more than water. Water from streams could make you sick, but ale, brewed light and weak, was safer. Children drank it too. It wasn't strong, it was just clean. You smell that? The stew is bubbling now. More people are stirring. Someone throws a new log on the fire. It sparks. A few flecks of orange leap up and fade before they reach the ceiling. Then you hear it. The first words of the day. Goddan, Morgan, good morning. A few more join in. Low voices, tired, but kind, and slowly, the longhouse wakes up. A woman braids her daughter's hair while talking softly about wool. Someone finds their boots stiff with cold. A boy tosses a stick to the dog, who trots happily across the room. A chicken jumps up onto a bench and stares at everyone like it owns the place. Maybe it does. And in all this, there's no rush, no bells, no alarms, no angry horns, just life. You look toward the small window. It's little more than a slit in the wall, covered in a thin piece of oiled animal bladder. It lets in light, but not wind, and through it, the outside world glows pale. Today will be cold, but the longhouse will stay warm. The walls are thick, the roof is low, and the fire, always burning. Now let's follow the oldest son. He's about to leave the house. He ties a wool scarf around his neck, slings a small net over his back, and gently pats the carved post near the door before he steps out. Not just a habit. That post, the door frame, was sacred. It was called the Meginverk, the strong dwarf. It held the spirit of protection. They didn't pray in churches, but they did believe in spirits, in gods, in the land itself. Once he leaves, the cold rushes in, a burst of white light and air like knives. Then the door closes, and you're warm again. And the smell of stew, stronger now. It means it's almost breakfast time. Breakfast in a Viking longhouse. Simple, but good. A slice of rye bread, a scoop of that fish barley stew, maybe dried fruit, if it was a good harvest year. And always, that ale. A child offers you a piece of cheese. It's sharp, hard, but you nod and smile, because this is their way. Now listen, a woman begins to hum. She's spinning wool, her hands moving gently on the spindle. The hum is low, repetitive, almost like a lullaby in reverse. And for a moment, even in the busy morning, you feel still, like time just paused for you. This longhouse, it's more than wood, it's breath, it's memory, it's warmth on a cold day. It's a place where chickens sleep beside children, where stories ride smoke to the roof, and where fire never dies. And tonight, when the light fades, the benches will fill again. Furs pulled close, eyes closed, and the wind will press against the turf like a curious guest. But no one will answer the door, because in here sleep lives, and stays. And just like that, we drift again, deeper into the folds of the night, wrapped in smoke, story and quiet straw. And the longhouse hums once more. There's something, deeply peaceful about the rhythm of a place like this. The longhouse, you see, didn't stop breathing during the day. It just changed pace. The quiet hum of night became a low murmur, a soft shuffle of feet, of spoons in wooden bowls, of spinning wheels and murmured prayers to gods, old as stones. By mid-morning, the light had filtered through the oiled window skins, in a pale amber hue, gentle, never harsh, just enough to see, not enough to hurry. You're still seated near the central hearth, now just a glowing pile of coals. A woman bends to stir the ashes. She adds peat this time. It smolders slowly, smells, a little sweet, a little like damp earth. She glances at you and offers a soft smile. Not wide, not bright, just the kind that says, yes, this is how it always is. Outside, someone splits wood. Rhythmic cracks echo through the heavy beams, like a heartbeat. 1, 2, 3. You turn your eyes to the ceiling. Above, there are hanging bundles, herbs mostly, dried lavender, dill, yarrow, not just for cooking, some are for healing, some for rituals, some just to keep bugs away. The smell of dried thyme mixes with the soot and the smoke. It's calming, like the earth itself is trying to hush your mind. To your left, a mother is weaving. It's a slow dance of fingers and thread. She sits upright, back strong. Her loom is a vertical one. Threads weighted by stones at the bottom. Each pass of the shuttle is like a sigh, under, over, under. She's not just making cloth, she's making warmth, and pride, and a dowry, perhaps. She hums softly too, a different melody from this morning's spinning woman, but just as ancient. You almost feel it in your chest, like the hum was sewn into the longhouse walls. Generations ago, somewhere near the back wall, a boy is drawing. Yes, even in the year 850 or so, children drew. He uses a charcoal stick on a piece of bone. The lines are simple, but clear. A long ship, a whale, a fox, and beside them, a man with a huge beard, and what looks like a big sword. Likely his father, or a god. Sometimes both felt the same. Now you hear it, a loud squawk, followed by clucks, rustling, and a thud. The chickens have decided it's time to explore again. They live with the people, not outside. Warmth is warmth, and the longhouse had enough for all. So the birds peck the floor, hop on benches, leave tiny gifts no one's happy about, and no one's surprised. The youngest daughter has made it her job to chase them, gently, back toward the hay. She doesn't yell, just claps once, whispers, "Go now," and the birds shuffle off like guilty guests at a feast. It's around this time, you start to notice the layer, not just the ones on people, though yes, wool, fur, leather, linen, all there, but the layers of life. Everything is done together. You eat, sleep, fix boots, mourn the dead, tell stories, all in this same space. And somehow, it works. There's a rhythm, a kind of breathing, one room for all, but everyone has their own quiet corner. A bench, a fur, a shelf with a few small things. What kinds of things? Let's look closer. A bone needle, still sharp, a tiny comb, with carved ends. Maybe for lice, maybe for pride. A stone bead, a half-finished wooden game piece. Little things, but they hold lives. And there above the hearth, the most sacred space. The regeneglar, the god's nails. 3 iron spikes, hammered into the beam. Not to hold anything, but to honor the gods. Nobody touches them, not even the chieftain, not even the seer. You glance at them now, and you don't quite understand, but you feel it. This is a place of meaning. And while you're gazing upward, someone places a warm bowl into your hands. Porridge, thick, nutty. Barley again, maybe a bit of honey stirred in. Steam curls upward like fingers. You breathe it in. Calming. Someone sits beside you. The grandmother. She's wrapped in furs too big for her frame. Her hands are calloused, her hair braided with strips of cloth. She doesn't say much, just nods. Her presence is the kind that doesn't need noise. She begins to stitch a tear in a wool tunic. Her needle moves slowly, steadily. Each pass seems to echo in the silence, and then she speaks, in a voice like old wood creaking. You sleep warm when your heart is clean, and your belly full. Then she nods again, as if that explained everything. And maybe it did. Later, the children will go out. Not far, just to the edge of the woods. They'll gather firewood, play a game with carved stones, maybe chase each other through the snow, and the longhouse will quiet again. You stay by the fire. A boy feeds it carefully. He knows exactly where to place the log so it burns, not smokes. It's an art. Smoke rises again, curling into the beams, and up there, you notice something new. A carving, barely visible, in the soot-darkened wood. A serpent, long winding. Its tongue split, its eyes wide. Not scary, just watchful. Someone must have carved it long ago. To guard the house, maybe. To remember a story. Or just to pass the time. Stories matter here. Not books. There were no books here, but memories, told out loud, around fires, tales of giants, gods, sea kings, and strange lands across the horizon. Children learn history with wide eyes, and swinging legs, and grown-ups, they listen too, because stories are anchors. They hold people in place, they remind them who they are. So tonight, when sleep comes again, and the benches fill once more. There will be another story, about Thor losing his hammer, or a girl who became a raven, or a bear, who wasn't really a bear. The fire will crack, heads will nod, and the smoke will carry the tale upward, until it sticks to the beams, and becomes a part of the longhouse forever. What a way to sleep, right? To sleep not alone. Not with silence, but with rhythm. A shared breath, a shared story, a place where even the walls remember you. So lie back now. Let your fingers touch the old wood beside you. Feel its warmth, its smoothness worn by 100 hands. The blanket over you is coarse, but it's heavy, comforting. It smells like the inside of the earth, and the fire still glowing. Just enough to keep the dark away. You wake slowly, not in a rush, not like you're late for something, but the kind of waking where your mind rises first, and your body follows. The fire is lower now, just red coals pulsing like tiny hearts beneath ash. It's not day, but it's not quite night either. This in-between, stillness all around. The longhouse is resting, like it's breathing slower than it should. You hear nothing at first, and then, a rustle, a snore, a whisper, not words, just air over someone's lips. The kind of quiet that feels alive. You're still wrapped in that fur, the heavy one. The one that smells like pine and old wind. You shift your arm and feel the texture of the wooden bench beneath you, polished smooth by 1,000 nights. You're not alone. Even in this early hour, the longhouse holds its people like a great wooden hand. You feel it, the warmth of others sleeping near you. No walls, no privacy, but also, no loneliness. Strange, isn't it? That closeness could be so calming. You hear a soft creak, the door maybe, someone slipping out, maybe a herder, maybe they're checking the animals, or saying a quiet prayer to Frey, the god of good harvests, peace, and sleep. You stay still, let your eyes wander the dim space again. Even now, you can make out the outlines. There the loom, motionless, the threads waiting, like dreams half-formed. There the hearth, still glowing, not gone. There the hanging herbs again, like tiny shadow puppets against the ceiling. But then your eyes fall to something new. The cradle. A baby sleeps there, wrapped in furs, snuggled beside a smooth river stone kept warm in the fire. The mother, she hasn't stirred. She trusts the house, the rhythm, the breath of the beams. You hear the wind against the roof, not harsh, just brush, like a giant's hand smoothing down the thatch. No storm tonight, just the deep, slow-moving dark, soft as wool. Then a sound again, this time closer, a soft rattle, a goat's bell. It's feeding time soon. The animals in the back of the longhouse are waking too. They know when. And so, a boy rises, barefoot, tugging on a thick wool tunic. He doesn't yawn loudly or speak, just moves with practiced steps toward the back partition. There, he scoops some feed, pours it gently into the trough. The goats press forward, hungry, but not rude. Even the animals seem quieter in this house. And you just watch. Even the way people move here is different, like they know noise is a kind of theft. Then comes something you hadn't expected. Singing, soft, low, from a woman now stirring near the hearth. She sits upright, smoothing her long braid, hums an old tune, a lullaby, even though most here are already asleep. Maybe she sings to herself, or to the gods, or to the longhouse. To keep it gentle, her voice is cracked, but warm, like firewood snapping in the coals. Her tune moves like water, and you feel your eyes slip heavier again. But then, another stirring. A man rises this time, older, weathered. He carries something carefully. A little pouch. He kneels near the fire, opens it and drops in a few pinches of something. The smoke changes. It curls blue now. Smells sharp. Not bad, but different. Juniper maybe. He whispers something as it burns. You can't hear the words. They're not meant for ears. They're meant for gods, for ancestors, or perhaps for the land itself. Then, slowly, he stands, brushes ash from his knees, and walks to a small wooden post beside his bed. There, carved deep into the wood are runes. Not decorations, not poetry, but names. He touches them, one by one. Each name, a memory, a promise, maybe. The kind of names no one outside this longhouse will remember. But here, they live in firelight. He returns to his bedding, lies down again, and sighs. Not tired, just at peace. The cradle creaks once. The baby stirs. A small hand flails in the air. Then, still, the wind hushes again. The goats settle, and the longhouse sleeps. But you, you're still watching, still soaking it in. And then something shifts. Not in sound, but in smell. Someone's begun to cook. Yes, morning stew. You smell onion, a bit of salt fish, barley. It's not breakfast as we know it. But here, it's warm. It's filling. It's enough. One of the younger girls stirs the pot. She's maybe 10. Her hands move slowly. She knows the rhythm. She hums too. Why do they all hum? Maybe, to fill the quiet. Or maybe, because the longhouse asks for it. You close your eyes, just to listen. The hum. The fire. The goats. The wind. Then suddenly, a sound you didn't expect. Laughter. Not loud, not sharp, but soft and deep and old. Two elders are telling a joke. You don't understand the words. Their dialect is thick with time, but you feel it. The joy, the twinkle in their eyes. They've sat in this longhouse longer than anyone. Seen 100 winters. Heard 100 births. Laughed through it all. They sip something from carved cups. Maybe mead. Maybe just warm water with herbs. They pass the cup between them. Another story follows. About a man who tried to outwit a fox. It didn't end well. The others nearby chuckle too. Even the goats seem amused. The baby, still asleep, smiles. Or maybe that's just gas. But it counts. Outside now the light is rising. The oiled skin windows glow with it. Pale gold, like honey stirred in snow. One by one, people begin to move. Not loudly, just stretches. Sips of water, pulling on boots. The longhouse comes alive. Not with noise, but with breath, with ritual. And somehow even that feels like sleep. You stay still, warm, wrapped in that fur, feeling more at home than expected. And then, a final thing, something you hadn't noticed until now. Above the door frame, carved into the wood, is a symbol. A knot, endless, looping, quiet. Not just decoration, a prayer, a wish, to bind the house together, to keep the cold out, to keep dreams in. And as you watch the light rise higher, as the bowl of barley stew is passed to you, you realize something simple. This isn't just where Vikings slept. It's how they lived together, softly, close. And maybe, that's what kept them warm. Not just the fire, not just the fur, but each other. What a thought to drift away with. The morning mist has thickened. Not quite fog, just a soft curtain. Outside the longhouse, the light filters in like milk, poured slowly into water. It's cold, but calm. The kind of chill that makes your cheeks feel awake, even if your eyes still want to close. You're wrapped in that fur again, warm, heavy, and you haven't even stood yet. But the longhouse around you has already begun to move. Not fast. Nothing here moves fast. That same girl who stirred the pot earlier is now breaking dried bread into pieces. You watch her hands, careful, smooth, practiced. Then she dips the bread into the warm stew, barley and onion, maybe a hint of seaweed, and hands it to the old man from last night, the one who whispered into the fire. He nods. Not a thank you, just a look. In this house, so many things are said without words. He eats slowly, the bread softens, steam curls upward. You watch the steam twist and fade. You take your own bowl, the wood feels warm in your palms. Not too hot, just human temperature. The spoon is carved bone, it fits your grip perfectly, like someone shaped it just for you. You taste. It's not rich, not spicy, but it belongs, like the taste was made for this weather, this wood, this air. And then the door opens, a burst of cold. Ah, Someone just stepped in. Arms full of something. You can smell it before you see it. Salted fish, wrapped in linen. The young man carrying it places it near the hearth, letting the warmth ease into it. He rubs his hands, not to warm them, but to brush off the frost. He's smiling, not wide but real. Behind him another figure enters, this one smaller, wrapped in layers. It's a child, maybe 6, maybe 7. They're carrying twigs. Not firewood, but thin branches, still green at the tips. The old woman who sang earlier waves the child over. She ties one twig above the hearth with a strip of cloth, bright red. A blessing, a spring charm, to keep the warmth in, to invite good dreams. You feel something tighten, but gently, in your chest. It's not sadness, just quiet wonder. No one here is rich, no one is safe from the cold, but still, they add beauty to their days. Even the twigs become prayer. The man who fetched the fish now kneels near the back. He's fixing a crack in the wooden wall with a bit of resin and moss. You watch him press the moss gently in, sealing it smooth. He hums another song, low, breathy, not cheerful, not sad, just enough. Everything here is enough. You hear laughter again. 2 girls playing a clapping game. It's soft, syncopated, like the rhythm of waves against a boat. They chant a little rhyme, in Old Norse. You don't understand it, but the bounce of the syllables makes you smile. It goes something like, skip the wolf, feed the crow, hide your bread beneath the snow. A child's rhyme with ancient wisdom tucked inside. The baby in the cradle stirs again, this time with a little squeak, almost like a question. The mother scoops them up, one smooth motion, and nurses by the fire. No one watches, not because they're avoiding it, but because here it's just part of life. Like the snow, like the bread, like breath. Outside you hear a gull, sharp, sudden. The sea isn't far, is it? This village, this longhouse, it stands somewhere near the coast. You can smell it now. Not the salt, but the possibility of salt. The man who fixed the wall now begins sharpening a small knife, not violently, not for war, but for food prep, leatherwork, needle shaping. The stone he uses makes a soft shk sound, like whispering to the blade. Every movement has a purpose, and yet none of them feel rushed. You glance upward again. The beams above your head, still solid, still holding strong, and there, tucked into the corner, a feather, pinned to the thatch with a small twig, a raven's feather. Not decoration, it's for Odin, for wisdom, for dream. Someone placed it there on purpose. Maybe long ago, maybe just yesterday, but it's watching, just like you are. You lie back now, feeling the wooden bench press gently against your back. Someone offers you a cloth, soft linen, filled with dried herbs. You press it to your eyes. Lavender, maybe thyme. It smells like the earth, and old stories. While you rest, the longhouse keeps moving. Someone begins to card wool, the soft swish of fibers pulled apart, then smoothed again. A boy near the doorway begins scraping a hide. Maybe deer, maybe seal. The scraping sound isn't harsh. It's rhythmic, like a heartbeat in slow time. They're all preparing for something, not an event, not a battle, but just tomorrow. Every action is quiet survival, and somehow, deeply gentle. The goats are fed again. Their bells make soft music. One of them butts another gently. Even the animals know how to live with others. The elders begin to tell another story, this one, about a woman who fell asleep in the snow, and woke up in a dream. The dream was long. Years passed inside it. But when she woke, only a minute had gone by. She said she saw colors the human eye can't name. They all nod. No one questions it, because in this longhouse, dreams are real. Maybe more real than stone. A child nods off against the old woman's side. She strokes the child's hair, never missing a beat in her story. You feel it now, deep in your bones. This place isn't just for sleep, it's made of sleep. Woven with it, framed with it, softened by it. Even the light here moves like a dream, gentle, filtered, never too sharp. You hear something else now, a soft tapping. A woman is knitting beside the door, and with each stitch her bracelet taps the wooden bench. Chush, tish. It's a metronome, keeping time with your breath. Suddenly, a breeze, just a little one, through a gap near the roof. It stirs the hanging herbs, brushes against your cheek, and carries with it the scent of pine, and maybe, roasted roots. Ah, someone's begun roasting turnips. You hear the crisp crackle as they pop in the coals. Sweet, earthy, safe. No one calls you to eat, no one expects you to move. But still, the food comes to you, placed gently near your fur. A small wooden plate, a bit of butter, a slice of dried apple, warmed by the fire. This is hospitality, not loud, not grand, but whole. The man who whispered to the fire before now begins to carve a stick. You watch the wood curl under his blade, shavings fall to the floor like feathers. He carves a boat, small, delicate, not for sailing, for dreaming. He places it on a little ledge above his bedding, beside a tiny stone figure, maybe Thor, maybe a mother spirit. And as the turnips crisp, and the wind settles, and the goats sigh, you drift again. You don't need a bed, you don't need silence. You have this, the breath of wood, the whisper of wool, the song of soup, the hum of 1,000 stories living in the beams. It's not sleep, it's something older, something deeper, something that holds you, like the Longhouse holds its people. Quiet, close, and always, always warm. It's later in the day now. The shadows have changed, longer now, stretching like slow arms over the walls and floors. But still, no hurry. Even the light here knows how to wait. The Longhouse is quieter this time. Not asleep, just slower, like it's breathing through its bones. A few of the people have stepped outside. You hear the snow crunching under soft boots, and distant voices muffled by wool and sky. Inside, it's warmer than ever. The fire hasn't grown, it's simply settled. A soft red glow, like the warmth you feel under your skin after a hot bath. The goats are lying down now. One of them sighs, the kind of sigh that only comes from animals that know they're safe. You're still wrapped in the same furs, and someone just tucked another pelt under your knees. Not because you asked, just because they noticed. That's how it is here. Quiet care, no fuss, just gentle presence. You notice the old woman again, the one with silver hair that falls like wool thread. She's sitting closer to the fire this time, her hands rubbing something between her palms. At first you think it's flour, but then you smell it. Dried herbs. Something slightly minty, and a little earthy. She mixes them with warm animal fat. Slow circles with her fingers in a little wooden bowl, and when it's soft, she dips a strip of cloth into it, rolling it like a bandage. Someone nearby has a sore knee, and she's preparing a warm salve. That's medicine here. Made by hand, made by warmth, made by eyes that see you even when you say nothing. Another pair of hands begins working on a loom near the back wall. Soft fibers stretched like tiny roads between two beams, and the shuttle moves, back and forth, back and forth. Click, thrum, click, thrum. You don't need music in a place like this. The sounds are the music. The door opens again, this time slower, no rush. A man enters carrying a bundle of kindling wrapped in rope. He's wet from the waist down, maybe from a walk by the stream. You can smell the moss on him. Not dirty, just alive. He lays the kindling near the hearth, unwraps the rope, and hangs it to dry. Then he slips off his boots, and warms his feet near the fire without a word. Another child hands him a carved wooden cup. It's filled with something warm and yellow. A soup, an egg mixture. You don't know, but he drinks it slowly, and sighs into the cup like it's the best thing he's tasted in days. In this Longhouse, and sighs are part of the language. A dog curls beside one of the women. Not a big one, not a puppy either. Just a shape of fur and breath and patience. Its paws twitch gently, dreaming, maybe. You wonder what a Viking dog dreams about. Bone piles, running in snow, listening to the same stories you are. You stretch a little under your furs. No one notices, and yet, someone places a small dried fruit next to you. It's dark purple, slightly sticky. You chew it slowly. Sweet, tart, calming, and then a voice begins. Not loud, not for performance, just speaking. A young man, maybe just past 20, begins to tell a story while staring into the coals. He doesn't look at anyone, but everyone listens. Even the goats, even the baby, even the walls. He speaks of a ship, one made in secret, deep in a fjord where the water never freezes. He says the ship was built by moonlight only, that the nails were made from fallen stars, and that the sails were stitched by a woman who never aged. It's not meant to be believed, but it is meant to be listened to, and you do. Because in a longhouse like this, truth isn't always about facts. Sometimes, truth is about comfort, about safety, about rhythm, about warmth. As the story drifts like smoke, someone begins to prepare the sleeping spaces again. They fluff the straw under the furs, turn the hides to their warmer sides, tuck in the blankets with soft, practiced hands. You watch, eyes half closed. You don't need to move. Everything comes to you, like waves on a very quiet shore. The fire has sunk lower now, not out, just calmer. Its light flickers across the rafters like shadows dancing in their sleep. And that raven feather, it's still there, still watching, still protecting. You close your eyes for a moment, and in that stillness, you hear more than you see. A soft snore, a stirring pot, the rustle of someone scratching a goat's ears, the tiny tink of bone beads on someone's wrist. As they roll over in their sleep, it's not silence, but it's peace, a long, deep, ancient peace, the kind you don't find in cities, or in noise, or even in perfect stillness. It's a peace made of belonging, and somehow, even though you've only just arrived, you belong here too. You begin to drift again, not into sleep, not yet, but into the soft edge of it, that warm blur where the world is still real, but nothing asks anything from you. You feel the weight of the furs, like being hugged by history. You hear the whisper of the wind against the wall, like a lullaby sung by snow. And the voice of the young man still speaking. His story has shifted. Now, he speaks of a whale, a great white one, older than the ocean. It knew the names of all the people who ever died at sea. And if you dreamed the whale's dream, you'd wake up remembering your ancestors' faces. Someone nearby murmurs a soft prayer, not out of fear, but out of love. Because here, stories and prayers are the same thing. Both keep you warm, both keep you close. Your fingers curl into the edge of the fur. You feel the texture, rough, then smooth, like life itself. You don't open your eyes. You don't need to, because now the longhouse is inside you. Its heat, its smell, its softness, its slow, soft rhythm. It will be evening soon. Someone will light another bit of fat for a lamp. Someone will add a few more sticks to the fire. Someone will tell another story. And someone will dream. And you'll still be here, part of it all. Safe, warm. Home. The sky is darker now. But not black. Not yet. It's that soft blue like old wool, the color just before the stars stretch their legs. Inside the longhouse, everything has shifted again. Not louder, not quieter, just slower. Even the fire feels slower now. It doesn't crackle like before. It glows, breathes, and hums. You hear that hum in your chest. It's not from outside, it's from being here. Someone has started weaving again. You hear the rhythm. It's different this time. Not the big loom with stretched fibers. No, this is smaller, more delicate. Click, tap, pull, 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 pull. Breathe. She's making a belt, or maybe a braid for a sleeve, maybe something for a child's coat. You don't ask. You don't need to. Because here you learn by watching, by feeling the space, by being part of it. A boy walks by, maybe 7 winters old. He's dragging a wooden horse, carved from driftwood. It's missing an ear, but he loves it anyway. He talks to it under his breath. Quiet words meant for its wooden ears only. You smile, and for a second, the horse looks back at you. Well, maybe not really, but maybe just enough. Now you notice the sound of water. Not nearby, faint, like memory. Someone's brought in a bowl, deep, and round, carved with swirling lines. They place it gently near the fire, and pour warm water into it from a kettle. Steam rises, soft and silver. Then one by one, hands are washed, not scrubbed, just bathed. You watch as fingertips swirl in the bowl. One person, then another, then a child, then the old woman again. Each hand is different, big, small, wrinkled, scarred, but the bowl receives them all. Like the longhouse itself. It doesn't care who you are, it just holds you. Someone brings out a little pouch, made from stitched deer skin. They open it gently, and scatter something into the bowl. You smell. Juniper, maybe some dried birch leaves, and a pinch of salt. The steam becomes something else now. It carries memory. You breathe it in, and for a moment, you see snow melting in spring, a river waking up, a tree shaking off the frost. You don't need to ask what it's for whatever it needs to be. Near the far corner of the longhouse, there's a tall man carving wood. He doesn't look up. His hands are steady, his brow calm. He carves slowly, not rushing, not thinking ahead, just carving. A handle for a knife, a charm to hang from a belt. It could be anything, but the shape is emerging. You watch as his fingers flick tiny curls of wood onto the floor. They land like feathers. Then, as if it was always planned, a girl picks up those curls and places them in a small pouch. Fuel for tomorrow's fire maybe. Nothing here is wasted. Not a breath, not a story, not a splinter. The door opens once more, colder this time. The wind breathes into the longhouse, like it's been waiting all day. But it's not rude, it just visits. A woman steps in, cheeks red from wind, holding something wrapped in woven cloth. She unwraps it carefully. Fish, not many, just enough. The skin still glistens. She lays them on a flat board, sprinkles a few crushed seeds over them, and starts to slice. Thin cuts. No fire yet, just preparation. You watch her hands, the way the blade slides like it knows the way the fish gives no resistance. Someone brings her a handful of pine twigs. Another lights a small stone fire bowl. A low flame, just enough to cook, slowly. The smell comes gently, not strong, but calming, savory, clean, ancient. You hear someone whisper, like the shore after a storm. And they're right, you've never smelled this before, but somehow it feels like you have. The sleeping places are being checked again. Not all at once, just here and there. A fur is straightened. A blanket is shaken out. A little bag of herbs is tucked under someone's pillow. Lavender.
No, not quite.
It's something sharper, but still soft. You lean back, and your own furs are pulled a little closer to your chin. Someone remembered you. Someone always does here. Outside, the first stars have appeared, but you wouldn't know unless someone told you. Because inside, time moves differently. It doesn't click. It doesn't buzz. It doesn't chase. It flows. Like water. Like wind. Like stories. Speaking of stories, one has just begun again. This time it's the old man. His voice is slow, like honey over stone. He tells of a woman who once walked across the ice all the way to the northern lights. He says she carried fire in a lantern made of fishbone, and every step she took lit a new star. People nod, some smile, some close their eyes. You do too, not to sleep, just to listen better. You feel the rhythm of the story in your chest. You don't follow the plot. You don't need to. You follow the feeling. That's the real path. The fire shifts. Someone places another log. Not loud, just there. A baby stirs, then sighs back into sleep. Even the goats seem to have melted into the floor. You notice something new. Above your head, hanging from the rafters, is a bundle of dried flowers. They're old now, crisp, faded, but beautiful. Someone placed them there months ago, maybe years, to bless the sleepers, to sweeten the air, to remind the roof to be kind. You smile, because even the roof here has a role in your comfort. You shift slightly, not much, just enough to let your arm find a new place to rest. The fur moves with you, like a quiet wave. No creaks, no metal, no sharp edges, just softness, and space, and hush. Someone laughs quietly near the hearth. Not a big laugh, not loud, just enough to say I'm alive, and this moment is good. You agree, even without saying anything, even without knowing why, it's good. Another voice picks up the thread of the story. Maybe continuing, maybe starting something new. It doesn't matter. What matters is the flow, like passing a cup of warm water from hand to hand. That's what stories are here. Shared warmth. You open your eyes a little. Only candlelight now. Just 3 small ones, floating in cups of fat, near the fire. They flicker like whispers. You think, maybe I could sleep now. But there's no rush, no pressure. You can stay here as long as you want. Even if your eyes are open. Even if your thoughts are drifting. Even if you're just being. That's enough. That's always enough here. Another puff of wind against the door. Someone stands and hooks the wooden latch, just a bit tighter. The door sighs, then settles. Everything settles. And you smile, and breathe, and melt a little deeper into the night. The longhouse has fallen into a deeper quiet now. Not silence. No, never silence. But something gentler. Like the world has taken a soft breath in, and hasn't let it go yet. Even the fire is smaller. Now just soft orange coals, nestled into their bed of ash. No crackling anymore, just the faintest sound, like warm snow settling. You're still awake, but maybe only halfway. Your body feels heavy. Not uncomfortable, not stiff, just like it's sunk into the furs a little deeper. Someone turns over nearby. Their blanket shifts, then stillness again. Outside, a breeze brushes the roof like a hand through hair. Just a whisper of movement. You wonder for a moment, how thick is the thatch? You remember they said it's packed with straw and sod. Woven so tight even snow has to ask before it enters. Yeah, that's the kind of roof you want over your head on a night like this. You notice your own breathing again. Slow. Comfortable. You breathe in, and the longhouse breathes with you, as if it's alive too. Maybe it is. Not in the way people are, but in the way that barns are alive, or trees, or rivers. Someone, maybe the weaver woman, begins humming. Just a low little sound. Not even a song. Just a note that feels warm. Like honey being poured into your chest. You don't need to know what it means. It means rest. It means you're safe. It means go ahead, let go a little more. So you do. A small clink, not loud. Someone's adjusting the stones around the fire. Just a bit, tucking the warmth in for the night. The stones are warm to the touch now. They'll stay warm for hours, long after the flames are gone. You think about that, heat stored in stone, sleeping beside you like a quiet guardian. There's movement again, but gentle. A man tall and broad is smoothing down the hay bedding for the goats. He speaks to them under his breath. Easy now. There you go. And they nuzzle in, calm as moss. The animals feel the night too. They feel the safe edges of the space. That's why they're quiet. Not because they're tired, but because they trust the stillness. You trust it too. You blink slowly. Then again, your vision is blurry in a comforting way. Not like something's wrong, but like everything is just soft. The edges of the wooden beams, the fur next to your cheek, the tiny curls of smoke rising into the rafters. All of it feels like it was painted in warm water. You don't need your eyes for this part of the night anyway. Everything important now can be felt. Someone is turning pages. A leather-bound bundle. Old stories written on lambskin. He doesn't read aloud. Not tonight. He just runs his fingers over the symbols. Maybe remembering, maybe talking to the past. That's what stories are here. Not decorations, not entertainment. They're anchors, roots, ways to hold hands with people you'll never meet. And still, somehow love. You hear a soft clatter near the wall. Nothing sharp, just a wooden spoon rolling off a table. A child picks it up, then tucks it under a folded cloth. No scolding, no noise, just quiet hands doing what needs doing. That's how everything works here. You don't do things loudly, you just do them. Someone's mending now. A sleeve, a sock. You hear the thread pulling through the cloth. Tuck, 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 tuck. It's not a rhythm exactly. It's just presence. A sign that someone is still tending. still caring. Even in this hour, especially in this hour, the smell of tallow and smoke floats again, but softer than before. The fire has dropped to embers now, and the air is full of dreams, not sharp ones, not the kind with battles and storms, but the kind where you ride on the back of a big warm ox, across endless snowy meadows, while the moon hums a lullaby. Yeah, that kind. The baby stirs again. A little whimper, a pause, then the softest shush you've ever heard. The mother draws the baby close, places her hand on its back, and hums low into its hair. The sound is so low you almost miss it, but you feel it, like when you listen to a seashell and the sea listens back. The baby settles, the house breathes. So do you. One of the older boys pulls a heavy fur over his shoulders, not because he's cold, but because it's time. It's the kind of movement that says yes, this day is done, and in that quiet motion, everyone else seems to agree. A few more sighs, a few creaks of wood adjusting, a slippered foot sliding into a folded mat. Then, hush, the kind of hush that doesn't mean stop, it means rest. You notice someone sitting quietly at the door, a watcher, not because they're worried, just tradition. Every night someone sits near the entrance for a while, not to guard, not to fear, just to greet the night, to acknowledge it, to say, I see you, darkness, I see your stars, thank you for your peace. Then when they're ready, they too will lay down, and the door will rest alone. Your head shifts slightly, your body knows now, sleep is close, very close, and still, you don't rush it. Sleep here doesn't take you, it invites you, like warm hands parting a curtain. One more breath, then another, then, The longhouse is still breathing. Even now. Even with the fire faded into red glowing crumbs. Even with the wind having curled up into sleep outside. Even with the people lying in rows and circles. Tucked, bundled, dreaming. A few are still awake. Not with their minds, but with their bodies. A twitch of the foot here. A soft lip smack there. Someone adjusts their cloak. Another sighs deep into the darkness. But no one speaks. No one needs to. There's something complete about the quiet tonight. Like everything said during the day, folded itself neatly into rest. You wonder for a moment, what did they talk about before the dark? What were the final words of the day? Maybe it was a story, or a whisper, or just a look across the coals. That look that says, we're safe now. That look that says, sleep well. The goats are still, all four of them, curled together like loaves. Their breath puffs faintly in the air. Sometimes one shifts. A little hoof scratch, or a tail flick, but mostly, they're still. You didn't know before this night just how quiet animals can be when they're comfortable. It's not the kind of quiet that means something's wrong. It's the quiet of belonging, and that quiet is contagious. You feel it spreading inside you now, down through your legs, into your arms, along your spine. You don't need to move. You could, but why would you? Even your thoughts are curling up next to you, like sleepy kittens finding a place to rest. One of the older men, you think his name is Kittel, is snoring softly. Not the loud kind, the kind that rumbles gently, like faraway thunder in the belly of the sky. His hand rests on his chest. His other one dangles off the edge of his sleeping bench. It moves slightly with each breath. Not much, just enough to remind you that he's there, and alive and part of the warmth that keeps this place whole. You smell something you didn't notice before. Cured fish. Not sharp, not smoky, just a thin salted presence in the air. Like memory. Someone must have packed it high on the shelf above your head. You wonder if it's for tomorrow's meal, or maybe for travel, or maybe it's just always there. Like the smell of wool and fire and people. Some things don't get cleared away at night. Some things stay, because this is home, and in home, you let things settle in. There's a whisper of fabric against wood. A woman, wrapped in layers of wool, is rising slowly. She doesn't speak. No one stirs. She walks gently, barefoot across the floor. The straw beneath her makes the faintest sound, like pages being turned in a book that doesn't mind being read in the dark. She kneels near the hearth. Not to stoke the fire. No. That would wait for morning. She's just checking the stones maybe, or a pot left warming. You watch her silhouette against the faint glow of the coals. She looks like she's made of time. Still, slow, patient. She touches something, then sits still as a carved figure. And for a moment you wonder if she's thinking, or dreaming, or both. Rain begins to fall. You didn't hear it start, but now it's here. Like a soft drum roll on the roof, played with fingers instead of sticks. It's not hard, just enough to remind you that the world is wide and full of water and sky and cold, and you are not out in it. You are warm. Here, inside, and the rain stays where it belongs. Outside the thatch. Outside the beam walls. Outside the breath of the sleeping. Still, you listen. Raindrops. Each one is like a tap on the window of your mind, saying, shh, go deeper. You hear the youngest boy talking in his sleep. Just a few words, not real ones, not in any known tongue. The kind of words that only belong in dreams. He turns over, pulling the fur tighter around his small body. His sister reaches out in her sleep and places a hand on his back. They don't wake, neither do you, but something in you sinks deeper, like being pulled slowly into thick honey. A little deeper. A little heavier. Your eyes are closed now. And not because you decided to. They just closed. As if your body said, let me take it from here. You smile. You didn't know falling asleep could feel like floating up. But that's what this is. A kind of gentle rising. Even as you sink, the longhouse holds you. Not just your weight, but your wondering. Your softness. Your quiet. A log shifts in the hearth. It doesn't break. Just leans inward. Its weight settles with a faint sigh. And the red coals glow a little brighter for a moment. Long enough to light the curve of the roof beams. The sleeping bodies. The corners where herbs hang dry and fragrant. Then the glow dims again. Like a deep breath out. Even the fire is sleeping now. Someone scratches. A gentle sound. Not anxious. Not restless. Just a body doing what it needs. It's strange how human this place is. Not in the way people usually mean that. Not loud. Not messy. Not busy. But human in the way that every movement, even tiny, belongs. Every breath is part of the structure. Every shift of a blanket is part of the music. You feel yourself becoming part of it too. Not just watching anymore. You're inside it. You are it. You remember something from earlier. The child who was carving that tiny horse. He'd finished it, you think. You saw him place it near his bed. Now it's there, resting beside him. A little wooden creature, legs curled, eyes closed. Even the toy sleeps. Even the carved things are tired. Everything is at rest. In the wall, near the corner, you hear a small creak. Just the logs adjusting to the night. Expanding, shrinking, speaking in their wooden language, about weather and warmth and old age. This house has stood for many winters, many nights like this. It remembers, and tonight, it adds you to its memory. You are now part of its story. You begin to feel lighter and heavier at the same time, like your body is wrapped in the weight of the blankets, but your mind is floating, just above you, not leaving, not drifting away, just hovering, close enough to feel the skin of your thoughts. The rain is steady now, but soft, like a lullaby being sung to the roof. Every drop, like a word you don't need to understand. You just let it wash over you. Again, and again, and again. You aren't thinking about morning. You aren't even thinking about sleep anymore. You are simply here, resting, in a house made of wood and wool and breath and peace. You wake, but not with your eyes. Only your ears. Something, a sound. Soft, rhythmic. Ah, it's the grinding stone. It must be almost dawn. You're still lying under the thick blanket of woven wool and soft fur, but the air is slightly different. Not colder, not warmer, just changing. Like the longhouse is stretching its limbs. One of the women is sitting near the far wall, the stone turning in her hands. She's making flour, and even though she hasn't said a word, her presence tells you the day is near, but not yet, not quite. She works in the dark with no fire yet rekindled. Only the faintest gray light slips through the smoke hole above the hearth. The sounds come one after another. Kirk, shirk, kirk, shirk. You feel them in your chest. Each pass of stone on stone is like the heartbeat of the house waking up. Not too fast, just enough. Someone sneezes. Not a sharp sneeze. More like a puff. Then a muttered word. Sleepy, croaky. Another stir in the straw. The goats begin to shift too. A tail swipes. A hoof stamps lightly. Still quiet, but moving. You're not in full mourning yet. This is the in-between. The moment that belongs to no one but the house itself. The Longhouse, slowly becoming awake. There's something sacred about this hour. No yelling, no orders, no heat from the fire. Just the raw, earthy breath of the place itself. You feel the edges of your blanket loosen. You don't move yet. You're not ready, and no one is rushing you. A child coughs. Then another. And then there's the unmistakable sound of someone rubbing their eyes. Long, slow fingers brushing across a sleepy face. A low voice speaks, deep and old. You think it's Kittil again. Just a few murmured words. Nothing loud. And the voice is answered. You can't make out what they're saying. It doesn't matter. It's just the hush-hush talk of waking people. Not secrets. Just comfort. Now there's movement. The blanket next to you shifts. Someone's sitting up. The bench creaks. They let out a sigh, long and quiet. You feel it in your ribs. Still, you don't open your eyes. Because you don't need to see it to know it. The morning is coming, but it's taking its time. And so are you. The woman at the grinding stone is joined by another. Now there are two sets of hands, turning grain into meal. The sound doubles, soothing, like ocean waves brushing across sand. It's funny. You never thought grinding stones would feel musical. But now, lying here in this quiet bundle of warmth, they do. Like lullabies for people who are just about to wake, but not quite. And then, the faintest smell. Just a little at first. Smoke, wood smoke. The fire is waking too. Someone must have added a handful of dry moss and bark to the old red coals. It catches with a crackle. A very soft pop, then a few gentle snaps. Not fast. Not yet flames, just preparing. A pot is placed gently near the hearth. Not hung, just set nearby. Inside, something wet, maybe water, for porridge, or stew. You don't know, but you hear it slosh a little. A child laughs, sleepily. A real laugh. Small bubbling, then hushes follow. Not scolding, just calming. The kind of hush that says let the day wait a little longer. You finally open your eyes. The ceiling is still dark. Except for the smoke hole where a bit of early sky peeks through. Gray-blue, cold. But here, wrapped in wool, it doesn't touch you. The thatch above is speckled with cobwebs and little bits of dust. Old, but strong. Still holding. Still protecting. The wooden rafters stretch above like ribs. You feel like you're lying inside a creature of warmth and memory. The Longhouse is a body, and you are its breath. You sit up slowly. No rush. The floor creaks beneath you. Not loud, just enough to remind you. You're part of the waking too. You stretch your arms quietly. The blanket falls from your shoulders. And the cooler air touches your skin. But it doesn't sting. It just refreshes. Like a whisper that says, you made it through the night. Someone hands you a cup, wooden, filled with something warm. You don't ask what it is. You just hold it. It smells faintly of herbs. Maybe mint. Maybe something else. It's not for flavor. It's for calm. You sip it slowly. It fills your throat with heat. Then spreads down to your chest and belly. It feels like kindness. No one tells you to hurry. No one tells you what to do. This part of the day, this slow unwrapping, belongs to everyone. No work yet, just waking. A young girl begins brushing her hair with her fingers. Long strands tug gently. Her mother sits beside her, murmuring something low. She braids the hair slowly, carefully. One strand over another, and again. There's something rhythmic about it, like weaving. like spinning the morning into being. A man opens one of the shutters. It's only a narrow wooden board. He slides it open just enough to let the light in. Soft light. Not the harsh sun. Not yet. Just the first color of day. It paints the wall in silver, and the shadows shift. You see the baskets along the walls, pots stacked in corners, blankets draped where people have stirred. It's all so quietly alive, like everything waited for the light to be seen. The goats are awake now too. One gives a low bleat. Then another. They stretch, shake, blink. A young boy comes forward with a handful of hay. He giggles as one of the goats nibbles his fingers. But even his laugh is gentle, like he knows the world is still half dreaming. He speaks to them in a whisper. Good morning, you imagine him saying. And the goats, well, maybe they're saying it back. You hear a gentle thump. It's someone pounding dough. Bread will be made soon. Flour, water, salt, and time. That's all. No yeast. Just patience. Flat cakes will be pressed and placed near the fire. You can already smell the earthy grain. Soon it'll be part of the longhouse too. Another note in the song of waking. A man sharpens a knife, not for fighting, for preparing fish. He runs the stone along its edge in long, steady strokes. It sings faintly. You sit beside the others now, still holding the warm drink, still wrapped in fur, still quiet, because there is no need to speak when everything else already is. The floor speaks in creaks, the coals speak in crackles, the goats speak in bleats, the bread speaks in steam. And you listen. You feel rested, but not in the way people say after a full night. This is deeper. You feel part of something, not just rested, restored. The kind of peace that comes from being inside something older, stronger, more patient than time. A place that doesn't rush, doesn't demand, just offers space to rest, to wake, to live. The fire is brighter now. The pot above it bubbles gently. You watch the steam rise, curling into the air like spirit. The children are eating now. So are the elders. Porridge, warm, plain, filling. Someone offers you a bowl. You take it, not because you're hungry, though you are, but because it feels right. It feels Viking. Not the wild raiding Viking most imagine, but the human kind. The one who rises slowly, feeds their goats, braids their child's hair, shares a quiet morning. You sit beside them, spoon in hand. You eat, and you breathe, and you smile. The bowl in your hands is nearly empty now. Just a little porridge left at the bottom. Soft, warm, sticking gently to the carved wooden grain. You don't rush to finish it. Instead, you scoop one slow bite after another, letting your body ease into the new day like a boat into water. No noise, no rush, no sharp turns, just the quiet drift of morning. Around you others are finishing too, some still half wrapped in blankets, some rubbing sleep from their eyes. The fire has taken on its full glow now. It's not crackling anymore, it's settled, just warm, steady, alive in the center of the longhouse like a heartbeat no one questions. The steam from the pot lifts in spirals, soft and white. You watch it twist and rise toward the beams above, disappearing through the smoke hole, like dreams slipping back into the sky. One of the elders, you think his name is Torgar, sits cross-legged near the fire. He's not eating, not speaking. He's watching, not in the way people stare, more like the way trees stand, still, present. He looks at the flame, then at the goats, then at a child across the room who's carefully pulling on her wool shoes. You wonder what he's thinking, but you don't ask, because sometimes in a place like this, silence is the story. Now that your stomach is warm, you feel your legs again. Not that they were gone, but now they ask to stretch. So you slide the bowl aside, rise to your feet, and take a few slow steps on the packed earth floor. It's still cool beneath your toes, not cold, just firm, real, a surface that holds you. Around the house, morning tasks are beginning, but gently, not with commands or shouting, just soft momentum, like water in a slow stream. Two girls sweep straw from the corners into a neat pile, their feet brushing it as much as their brooms do. One of the older men is inspecting a fishing net. that hangs over a wooden beam. He doesn't say anything, just looks at the knots, checks the weave, touches one or two spots, then sighs. Not a bad sigh, just a not yet kind of sigh. And then there's the smell. You noticed it before. Faint. Behind the porridge. But now, it's clearer. Pine. Fresh pine. Someone has brought in wood. A stack of narrow logs lies near the door, their edges still sticky with resin. One of the boys, maybe 10 or 11, carries a small bundle to the fire. He places it down with care, and his fingers smell like sap when he brushes past you. That scent. It feels honest. Like the forest itself has walked in and taken a seat beside you. Suddenly there's a soft gust of air. Not wind, not really. Just a breath from the door. Someone opened it, and now, morning is truly here. The outside, not bright, not loud, just crisp. You catch a glimpse through the open crack, pale gray sky, a soft mist, resting on the ground, a chicken clucking once, and walking out of sight. No rush out there either. Just stillness. People begin to move toward the door. Not all at once, in twos and threes. Some go to check on the animals. Others carry small buckets, maybe heading to the stream for water. One carries a wooden pot with a lid, probably waste to be emptied far from the home. Every task looks like it belongs. There's no grumbling, no resistance, only this quiet agreement between the people and the place they live in. Life needs doing, so they do it. But gently, always gently. You step toward the door too. Not outside yet. Just near. From here you see the edges of the yard. Stones placed in patterns. Scraps of wood stacked neatly. A simple fence that's more suggestion than barrier. The longhouse's shape is more clear now. From the inside, it feels endless. But from here, you see how it curves softly, low to the ground like a sleeping animal. Its roof is thick with thatch, still holding last night's dew. A bird hops along the ridge, chirping once, then gone. This house, it doesn't just keep people warm. It holds their whole rhythm, like a drum that never stops playing. You move back inside, not because it's cold, but because it's still home. And the inside of this longhouse feels like the inside of your own skin now. You pass by the hearth again, and someone hands you a small piece of flatbread. Still warm, slightly smoky. You nod in thanks. They don't say anything. They don't need to. In one corner, a woman is spinning thread. She's sitting on a low stool, her spindle turning in slow loops. It catches the light like silver. Every twist, every pull, it's like a lullaby for the air. You stop to watch. The wool she's spinning came from the sheep that sleep just beyond the walls. Maybe even from the same wool that made your blanket. Isn't that something? To know, to really know, where your warmth came from. Who made it? What animal gave it? Which hands turned it? You're not separated from your comfort. You're woven into it. The little ones are playing now, but even their games are gentle. One girl rolls a stone carved with symbols. Another pretends to feed her doll from a tiny bowl. Their laughter is small and soft, like feathers tickling air. No one tells them to hush, but they seem to know not to be too loud. Because here, even joy knows how to whisper. You settle back onto one of the benches. Not to sleep, just to rest again. You've done very little, and yet you feel full. There's a strange kind of peace in doing nothing loud. In just being among others doing the same. A quiet knot of shared living, like threads in the same cloth. You close your eyes again for a moment. The scent of bread, the crackle of wood, the brush of wool, it's all still here, still singing. In the far end of the longhouse, a man begins humming. It's not a song you know, it doesn't even have words, just tones. Low, wide, echoing softly off the wood. Others don't join. They just let it move through the room, like smoke. The hum fills your chest. Not loud enough to shake it, just enough to hold it. You hum too, quietly. Not to be heard, just to feel it. The sound isn't entertainment, it's prayer. No, older than prayer. It's presence. A kind of sharing that needs no language. You open your eyes again, and the hum fades. The man scratches his beard, and goes back to carving a stick. Not because the song is over, but because it's no longer needed. Someone's lighting a torch near the far beam, even though the sun is up. Parts of the longhouse stay dim. The glow from the flame flickers across a painted shield that hangs on the wall. It's not for battle, it's for memory. Maybe it once belonged to someone who lived here, or maybe it tells a story only the people of this place understand. Either way, the torchlight dances across it gently, like a warm hand brushing across the past. And then, laughter again, not loud, just a shared smile between two elders watching the children. One says something in their soft, worn voice. The other nods. They've seen 1,000 mornings like this one, and yet they still smile, because each one is different, in the quietest ways, and each one matters. You let your body lean against the wooden wall. The grain of the timber feels smooth against your back, polished not by tools but by time. The wall knows more than you do. It's seen storms, heard weeping, felt joy, held generations, and now, it holds you. You let out a sigh, long, slow, not because you're tired, but because you're full of something soft. Not joy, not sadness, just peace, like your chest has turned into part of the longhouse itself, still, strong, and waiting for nothing but the next breath. You close your eyes again, but this time, you don't plan to sleep, you just want to feel. And all around you, the world moves without needing your attention. The longhouse breathes, the goats murmur, the fire holds, the bread cools, the thread spins, and you rest inside it all, as quiet as dawn, as still as wood, as warm as wool, and just like that, the day begins. It's mid-morning now. The longhouse is quiet, but not empty, not still, but not busy either, just settled. Outside the light is soft and grayish, not sunny, not gloomy, the kind of light that makes you want to wrap a blanket around your shoulders. Sip something warm, and watch the day go by without needing to do much. Inside the longhouse, the air smells like wood smoke, wool and faintly, a bit of sweet bread, someone baked with honey. You can tell, you're sitting on a bench now, near the wall. Your back leans against the timber, and your hands rest in your lap, still holding the edge of your woven tunic. The wool is scratchy, but soft where it's been worn down from you. It smells a little like earth, a little like sheep, and a lot like home. You take a breath. It fills you from nose to chest, not just the air, but the calm of the moment. It feels like you could stay here all day, and maybe you. Somewhere near the hearth, a low voice begins to speak. Not storytelling, not yet, just speaking. It's an old woman. Her name is Brenja. You've heard her voice before, cracked, gentle, with little laughs at the end of sentences. Even when she's not saying anything funny, she's telling one of the younger girls how to wash the wool properly before spinning. Not with cold water, not with water that's too hot, not too fast, not too slow. Gently, always gently, let the lanolin stay, don't scrub it out too much. Wool knows, she says. You smile. Wool knows. You're not sure what that means, but somehow it makes sense. A few others gather near her now. They're not here to help with washing. They just like hearing her voice. So do you? So you stay quiet, still sitting, listening. She keeps talking. Now about dyeing wool. Use onion skins for yellow, she says. Woad for blue, lichen, for that nice green-brown like moss, after rain. Then she adds, but never dye too fast. Colors don't like to be rushed. A child giggles. She grins back at them. Isn't that something? Even color doesn't like to be rushed. The fire in the center has died down a little. It's not cold, just gentler now. A few logs glow, orange and deep red. A woman carefully pushes one in with a stick. The ashes flutter, tiny and white, like snowflakes that never melt. You watch them drift up, curl, then disappear through the smoke hole above. They don't need to fall. They just rise, vanish, and are gone. Someone nearby is mending a tunic. The needle moves in and out. In and out. The sound is nearly silent. Just a faint whisper of thread pulling through cloth. But you can hear it, and for some reason, it feels like a lullaby. You shift on the bench. Not uncomfortable, just slow. Your legs stretch out slightly. The wooden floor under you is dry and firm. Packed dirt with a thin scatter of straw. You press your toes into it. Not cold, not warm, just steady. It feels like the earth itself is holding you up. In a way it is. In the far corner of the longhouse, someone begins to play a simple flute. Just a few soft notes. Nothing sharp. Nothing fancy. The sound is hollow and smooth, like the wind through tall grass, or a stream passing under a bridge made of bark. It rises and falls. Not a song. Not exactly. More like a feeling being gently carried through wood and smoke. Others listen without saying anything. No clapping. No singing. Just listening. A man near the middle of the longhouse is carving. He's not making anything in particular, just letting the knife glide over a piece of wood. A curl falls away, then another, then another. They gather in his lap like little sleeping worms. You can smell the pine. It's soft and sweet, with a whisper of forest. The kind of smell that makes you feel like you're outdoors even when you're deep inside. You look up, and you notice something you hadn't before. The rafters. They're higher than you thought, curving gently overhead, like the ribs of a great beast, or the inside of a ship turned upside down. You wonder, did they shape them to feel like a boat? Maybe so. The Vikings know ships. Maybe even at home they like to feel as if they're always sailing. Sailing without moving. The wind outside gives a soft sigh. Just one. It brushes across the smoke hole and tickles the rafters. A small gust dances through the longhouse. It stirs the fire just enough to make it crackle. The crackle, that sound. It doesn't shout. It doesn't startle. It just arrives. Then stays a while. Near the door someone is working leather. The smell of it joins the air. Rich, earthy. A little sharp. She's making shoes. Soft ones. For a child, the tiny form of them makes you smile. So small. So needed. So real. She hums as she works. Not loudly. Just a quiet, steady sound, like breathing, but with notes. You watch her fingers move. They know what to do. They don't need thinking. Only rhythm. Only time. Someone walks in from outside. They knock the dirt from their boots, near the door, shake off a bit of rain. Not much. Just enough to glisten. They nod to a few people, say nothing, then take a place near the fire and start rubbing their hands. You watch the warmth spread back into their fingers. It's like watching winter leave a body, 1 inch at a time. A little boy sits beside you now. He doesn't say anything, just leans lightly against your arm. His head rests there. You don't move. You don't need to. It's a quiet weight, a shared space. You feel his breath slow, even warm. He's probably not even thinking. Just be you. Another voice now. A man, maybe 30 winters old. He begins to tell a story. Not a loud one. Not exciting. Just one of those stories that feels like watching smoke curl. You don't need to follow every word. You just listen to his tone, the way he lets silence fall between sentences. The way others nod gently. No big laughs. No shouts. Just small smiles. Like warmth blooming without fire. You shift again. Your body is so still, you almost forget it's yours. But in a good way, the way stillness feels when it's safe. Like water in a calm pool. You hear someone chuckle softly across the room. A pot lid clinks gently on stone. Wool brushes wool. As two people pass each other, everything is happening, without needing your attention. You close your eyes, just for a moment. You can still hear the fire, still smell the leather, still feel the bench under you. But you don't need to move. You're not sleeping, but you're not awake in the way that means work. You're somewhere in between, and it feels perfect, like being held by a house made of wood and wool and people. You think of last night, sleeping among the breathing bodies, the low creaks, the coals glowing, the soft sleeping noises of and you realize something, that even now, in the daytime, the Longhouse is still a place of rest. Not just at night, not just for sleep, but always. Rest lives here. You smile again. No one sees it. That's okay, it's yours. You let your shoulders sink just a little more. You let your fingers curl into your lap. You let your breath stay slow. And you stay, just stay, while around you, the Viking day rolls gently forward. A rhythm older than clocks, older than even time itself. A rhythm of hands, and hearts, and hearths. And now, your rhythm too. You don't need to be anywhere else. You're still in the Longhouse. Hours have passed, but time doesn't seem to matter here. It's not morning now, but it isn't quite evening either. Just soft light, slipping in through the wooden slats in the wall. Long, quiet beams of golden gray that move ever so slowly across the floor. You can hear the chickens outside, not clucking, just rustling softly in the straw. Inside, the air is warm. Not just the kind of warmth that wraps around your shoulders and holds you in place, like a blanket made of time. You haven't spoken in a while. No one minds. No one asks. Some people are like wind, moving around, always talking, always others, like you perhaps, are more like moss, quiet, still, but soft, and necessary. You like being moss today. A woman walks slowly past you, her skirt brushing the floor. She carries a shallow wooden bowl with something creamy and steaming inside. Porridge, probably barley, maybe with a little honey if they have some left. She doesn't offer it to you. She's taking it to someone older, maybe not feeling well, but as she passes, the scent follows her, sweet, warm, a little nutty. You close your eyes for a second, and imagine the feeling of a warm bowl between your palms, steam curling into your face. Your first bite, just warm enough to comfort, but not burn. Your mouth almost waters, but you don't ask for any. You don't need to. Just the thought is enough for now. A gentle thumping starts at the far end of the Longhouse. Boom, boom. Not loud, just steady. You turn your head slightly, eyes still half-lidded. It's a man. He's grinding grain on a large flat stone with another round stone in his hands. The motion is circular, heavy, slow. He leans into it with his whole body, not fast, not lazily, just the way he's always done. You can see the flour collecting at the edges, pale gray, soft like dust. You watch him work for a while. The rhythm feels like a heartbeat. Boom, boom. Someone near the fire is knitting, not with fine needles like you'd see in later centuries, but with carved bone tools, thick and slightly curved. The wool is dark brown. It loops and twists in her fingers. In, around, pull, twist. In, around, pull, twist. You can barely hear it, but the sound is there, like a whisper between wood and wool. She's making mittens. You think of how those would feel on a cold walk, thick, cozy, like your fingers are sleeping too. The fire has grown again. Someone added a few new logs earlier. Now the flame dances softly, not wild, not roaring, just alive. You watch the tips of it flicker orange and yellow. They move like hands telling a secret in the dark. Above it, the smoke goes up in a lazy spiral, then disappears into the smoke hole. You follow it with your eyes, and for a moment you wonder where smoke goes, after it leaves a Longhouse. Does it just fade, or does it carry your thoughts with it? Maybe both. A small girl walks by, holding a bundle of feathers, bright ones. You recognize a few from local birds. Duck, maybe goose. Something blue from the fjord shore. She's placing them gently into a leather pouch. Why? You don't know, but it looks careful, important, sacred even. She hums while she works. The sound is soft and round, like marbles rolling slowly across a cloth. A man enters from outside. He carries a branch, thick, gnarled and covered in lichen. He holds it like it's more than just wood, and maybe it is. He lays it near the hearth, eyes respectful. Not for firewood, for something else. He begins to speak in Old Norse. You don't understand the words, but the feeling behind them is clear. It's a prayer. Maybe for harvest, maybe for a family member gone, maybe for peace. You listen, not with your ears, but with your whole chest. You feel warm, not from the fire, from the meaning. A pair of women begin working with combs, long-toothed, wooden tools. They comb out raw wool. The strands pull apart. They work in silence. Each stroke of the comb makes a faint ripping sound. But it's not unpleasant. It sounds like something being untangled. Something being made smooth. You stretch again, gently. Your legs unfold like vines reaching for light. You don't rise, but you shift your weight. Let your arms rest over your knees. Your back touches the wall again. The timber is rough, but familiar. You can feel every notch, every grain, like the wall remembers every person who's ever leaned here before. What stories they must have had. You look toward the middle of the longhouse. A boy, maybe 12 winters, is drawing on a piece of bark with charcoal. His tongue sticks out just slightly while he focuses. Lines curve and cross. Shapes take form. A house, a sun, a wolf, maybe a boat. He's not trying to impress anyone. He's just letting what's inside come out. A few adults glance over. One smiles, but no one interrupts him. Here, creativity is as normal as eating, or breathing, or resting. You hear someone sharpening a blade in the corner. The sound is smooth, slow. Shirk, shirk, cirk. They're not in a rush. There's no battle coming, no hunt today. They're just keeping the blade ready, like trimming a plant that doesn't need to be trimmed, but likes it anyway. You realize how many quiet things happen in this house. How many acts of care, of keeping, of making. Not loud, not flashy, just important, like the way the earth breathes under snow. A small draft slides in under the doorway. You feel it against your ankle, cool, soft, barely there. But, you notice it. It makes you aware of your body again. Just for a second. You shift your toes, pull your tunic down a little, and let yourself settle back into stillness. Someone is telling another story now. A myth, this time. About a giant with frost in his beard, and a girl who melted him with just her smile. It doesn't make complete sense, but it doesn't need to. The story isn't about logic. It's about sound. About sharing, about holding people together through words. And as the voice continues, you feel your eyelids grow heavier. Not with sleep, not yet, but with peace. That quiet weight you feel when everything is just enough. No more, no less, just enough. Your hands rest in your lap again. They're still, but they feel good. They feel used, but not tired. Like a tool placed gently back on the shelf. You take another breath. It moves through you like water. You let it go slowly. So slowly. Like fog leaving a mountain. The longhouse continues to hum, not with sound, but with life. A soft, low vibration that isn't heard, but felt. People move. Sit. Talk. Work. Dream. All without rush. All without noise. Just the calm of being and the warmth of belonging. You don't need to say anything. The house understands. It's still quiet. That kind of quiet that feels full, not empty. The kind of quiet where everything matters, but nothing has to happen. You're still sitting where you were. Maybe you've moved a little, stretched your legs, shifted your shoulders. But you haven't left your spot, and you don't want to. It's warm, but not in the way fire is warm. It's the kind of warmth that comes from being surrounded by wood, by wool, by people, by time. You hear someone stirring something nearby. It's a pot, heavy iron, sitting in the coals. The person is using a thick wooden spoon, scraping softly at the bottom. Stir, stir, pause, stir, stir, pause. You can smell it now. It's fish broth, mild, a little salty, smoky from the fire. Not strong, but comforting, like something you've had before in a dream maybe. Across the longhouse, a baby is waking up. She doesn't cry, she just makes a soft, croaky sound, like a little bird in a cold tree. Her mother is already beside her, wrapping her tighter in her blanket, whispering something too quiet to hear. The baby doesn't even open her eyes all the way. She just shifts, then sighs, and that's it. The rest of the house continues as before, like the moment never happened. But you saw it, and now that warmth, that care, it's in your chest too. Someone is weaving now. A loom stands in one corner, tall, simple, wooden. The weaver, a man this time, works slowly. He passes the shuttle back and forth. Click, pull, click, pull. The pattern forming is soft blue and gray, like sky during winter. You wonder who it's for. Maybe a child, maybe for trade, maybe for no reason at all. Just because weaving is what hands do when they want to be quiet. Your own fingers twitch a little at the thought, not to do anything, just remembering. One of the younger boys walks past you, barefoot. He stops and looks at you for a moment. Then he nods, just once. It's not a question. It's not even a greeting. It's something else. A way of saying, I see you and you are here. And that's enough. You nod back, just slightly, and he keeps walking. Sometimes that's all we need from each other. You hear rain now, soft, delicate, like someone is brushing hair outside. It's tapping on the wooden beams above. Just tiny sounds. Pat, pat, pat. Nothing heavy, but it makes the air inside even warmer somehow. You lean your head back, and just listen. No words, no thoughts, just rain. Break. A few people are gathered near the middle of the longhouse. Not close together, but gathered. They're working on small things. One is carving a comb from bone. Another is patching a leather shoe. A third is untangling a long string of beads. They don't speak, but they make sounds. Little breath, tiny huffs, occasional hums. The kind of sounds humans make when they're doing something that matters, but doesn't need to be explained. Your feet are cold. Not too cold. Just lightly chilly. Like when the blanket slips off your toes in the night. You tuck them in closer. Pull your tunic over your ankles. Better. Outside the longhouse, someone is chopping wood. You can hear the rhythm. Thump, crack, thump, crack. It doesn't bother you. It feels steady, predictable, reassuring, like someone keeping the world going. You imagine the pile growing taller, log by log, a small gift for tomorrow's fire. Someone nearby begins to sing, just a line or two. Old words, maybe older than the longhouse itself. The tune isn't perfect. Her voice cracks once or twice, but it's beautiful. Not because of how it sounds, but because of why it's sung. She's not performing. She's remembering. It drifts through the house like a feather. Some people stop what they're doing for a second, then go back, but the feeling stays. You notice the roof again. The way the beams crisscross. The way smoke stains have darkened the highest planks. You imagine all the years these walls have watched, how many winters they've held in, how many breaths they've caught, how many dreams have floated up into the rafters, never to come down again. Maybe your dreams will go there too, and stay. You feel your own breath now, rising slowly, falling slowly. You don't try to change it. You just notice. It's steady, like the fire, like the rain, like the sea that brought the Vikings here in the first place. You close your eyes again, not to sleep, just to feel everything deeper. The weight of your own chest, the floor beneath you, the closeness of the people, and the silence between all of you. That makes it real. A few girls are plucking goose feathers. They're laughing, not loud, not sharp. Just breathy giggles. They talk in low voices. You don't know what they're saying, but you can tell they're sharing something sweet, something funny. One holds up a tiny feather and makes a mustache. The others shake their heads. They keep plucking. One by one, the pile grows soft and white beside them. You wonder where the feathers will go. Maybe into a cloak, maybe into a pillow, maybe nowhere. Maybe it's just something to do on a rainy day. Someone walks past with a bundle of herbs. The smell is strong. Sage, thyme, something else. He tosses a few sprigs into the fire. The smoke curls up thicker now. You breathe it in. It tickles your nose, but it feels good too, like old memories, or the beginning of a healing. A chicken wanders inside for a moment. Everyone ignores it, except a small child who quietly follows it with wide eyes. He crouches, he watches, but he never reaches out. And after a few minutes the chicken clucks once, turns around, and walks back out. Even the animals know this place belongs to something more than noise. It's getting darker now. The sun outside is going, but no one rushes. No one jumps up to light more torches. No panic, no fear, just slow movements. A few candles are placed near the walls, made from fat, with rough little wicks. The light is golden, soft. It flickers on the wooden beams like dancing shadows. You watch your own hand in the glow. It looks older somehow, but strong, like it belongs here. Someone starts shaping clay, just a ball of earth, wet and brown. She rolls it between her hands, presses it flat, turns it. Her fingers leave prints in the surface, then smooth them away. It's a bowl now, not finished, but becoming. You watch her thumbs press into the center, like creating a tiny universe, out of nothing. Just water and dirt and time. That's what this place is too, isn't it? A universe made of ordinary things. You lie back now. Just a little. Your spine against the wooden wall. Your knees still bent. Your head tilted. You hear breathing around you. Not loud. Not snoring. Just slow, steady, human breath. Some close. Some far. All together. The Longhouse breathes with you. Like a single body. With many hearts. Break. You think again about the ocean. It's not far from here. Maybe just beyond the hills. You imagine the water. Cold, endless, deep. Vikings came from the sea, and sometimes they went back. But this place, this Longhouse, was the in-between. The resting place. The fire. The food. The family. Not every Viking was a warrior. Most were just people. People like you, who cooked, who wove, who sang, who sat, who listened, and who, when night came, closed their eyes and let the Longhouse hold them, just like you are now. Your fingertips rest on your lap. Still, your shoulders are soft, your head heavy. You are not sleeping, but you are not fully awake either. You are between, like the smoke above the fire. Not wood, not air, just the part that rises. Someone yawns near the fire. The flames crack softly, and outside, the rain still falls. A little slower now, like even the clouds are beginning to dream. The fire hasn't gone out. It never really does. Even when the flames get low, the embers wait, glowing like tiny red eyes beneath ash and smoke. Watching, waiting, still warm, still alive. Someone turns a log with an iron poker. It crackles softly, sending little sparks up. Just a few. They dance for a second, then disappear. Ah, there they go. The smell is stronger now. Wood, smoke, wool, sweat, herbs, and something else. Is that bread? You glance around. Slow, lazy. And yes, near the side hearth, a small loaf sits on a flat stone, baking slowly. No oven here, just fire, stone and time. But somehow, it works. The smell floats through the Longhouse like a whisper. Not everyone notices, but you do. A man is braiding rope from horsehair. His fingers move in perfect rhythm, tight, precise, focused. He doesn't speak, he just hums a little tune, very low, almost too low to hear. It might be for a boat, that rope, or maybe a trap, or a tether for a restless goat. You don't ask, you just watch, and wonder how long it took for his fingers to learn that pattern. 1/2, 2/3, again and again. There's something calming about watching someone do something they've done 1,000 times. Like the world is being held together by tiny, careful hands. The candlelight flickers again. You watch it stretch across the floorboards, across sleeping faces, up into the beams above. It makes the shadows move, not fast, not scary, just gently, like they're breathing too. Maybe they are. Maybe everything here breathes. Even the walls, even the straw under your feet, even the fur tucked behind your back. Outside the rain is slowing, but the roof still leaks a little. A slow, steady drop. There, One tiny puddle near the door catches it. No one minds. In fact, it's kind of lovely. You can almost hear it say drip, drip, you're still here. Drip, drip, everything's okay. It's funny how even a leaking roof can feel comforting if you're safe underneath it. Someone near the wall is mending a fishing net. The twine looks rough, full of knots, and old salt. His hands are big, but gentle. He doesn't pull too hard, just enough. Loop, pull, tie, over and over. At his feet a clay jar full of little stones rattles when he shifts. Waits for the net. They're round, smooth, almost soft-looking, like they've been touched by the sea for years. You wonder where they came from, far away, or right here. You don't ask, you don't need to know. The story is in his hands, not in the words. A dog is asleep near the fire now, curled tightly into itself. Its tail covers its nose. You can see it dreaming. Its paws twitch, just a little. Maybe it's chasing something, or maybe it's running home in the dream. Right back to this fire, this floor, this peace. You smile, softly, and shift your weight again, just slightly. The dog's ear flops, but it doesn't wake up. Good. Let it sleep. You're still warm, still soft, still listening. The air feels thick, but not heavy. Full, maybe. Full of breath, wood smoke, thought, but not full of noise. It's like the world decided not to speak tonight. Only to be, and that's enough. Someone sneezes in the dark. A tiny voice says bless, then silence again, as if the sound never happened. One of the elders, a woman with long silver hair, begins to tell a story, not loudly, not to everyone, just to the two children sitting near her lap. They lean in close. She speaks in the old tongue. You can't understand the words, but you understand the feeling. It's not a scary story, not even exciting, just a quiet remembering. Someone is whispering a prayer. To the old gods. Or maybe just to the air. You don't catch the words, but they're not asking for anything. They're just thanking. Thanking for the roof, for the heat, for the food, for the breath still in their chest. It's not loud, it's not for you, but you hear it anyway. And something inside you nods. Yes, thank you. Your eyes feel heavy now, your arms still, your breath deeper than before. You think about the sky outside. Stars you can't see, clouds that carry dreams, winds that tell stories to the mountains. You think about the longhouse walls, thick with memory, heavy with sleep. You think about everything that's been done today, and everything that doesn't need doing now, because this is night, and you are here, still warm, still okay, just like them. All of them, the people, the fire, the sleeping dog, the whispering child, the combed hair, the quiet story, the flickering light, and you, and you, It's very late now, maybe even the middle of the night, but no one looks at the stars. They just feel them, somewhere, out there above the thatched roof. The beams, the black clouds, they're still shining, quiet, cold and far away, but here it's still warm, still soft, still glowing. The fire is lower now, just a bed of coals. The orange light flickers gently, only reaching the center of the room now. The edges fade into soft, deep shadows. You look there. Nothing moves. Just sleeping shapes. A lump beneath a fur. A slow breath. A curve of a shoulder, or knee, or elbow. You can't tell. Doesn't matter. They are still. Just like you. The air has changed again. Not colder. Not warmer. Just heavier. Full of sleep. Like the longhouse itself is drifting into dreams. Even the dog has stopped twitching. Its ears are still now. The old woman is no longer whispering. The children are curled like small cats, their arms over their faces, dreaming of stories without words. You shift a little on your bedding. It's soft enough. Fur, straw, linen, simple things, but layered well. Your shoulder finds a new spot. Your cheek sinks in. Yes, that's better. You remember the first time you saw this place. Not just tonight, long ago, maybe in a dream, maybe in memory. You weren't born here, were you? No, but it feels like you belong. That's enough. Maybe that's all anyone wants. To feel like they belong when the night comes. To be somewhere that welcomes sleep like an old friend. Not rushing it. Not chasing it. Just waiting. Like the fire. You can hear someone breathing near you. Slow, deep, with a slight whistle on the exhale. Not annoying. Not loud. Just steady. Like the tide. Like wind through trees. Like something old that never stops. You listen for a while. No need to look. The sound is enough. And for a moment, you forget about your own breath, because theirs carries you. Strange how comfort can come from something so small, so simple, so human. A breeze sneaks in, somewhere, a crack in the wood, a corner near the door. It brushes past your ankle, not cold, just different, like a reminder that the world is still out there, still turning, still whispering. But here, inside, the longhouse stands still, holding on to night like it's sacred. And maybe it is. Maybe the Vikings didn't always rush through the dark. Maybe they knew that night has a kind of wisdom, if you let it speak. A soft sound now. Someone scratching their arm. Someone shifting a leg. Someone pulling a fur closer. Even in sleep, the body remembers what it needs. It doesn't ask permission. It just moves, finds warmth, finds comfort, finds stillness. You do too. You pull your knees up slightly. Tuck one arm beneath your head. Let your weight sink into the straw. Let your thoughts slow, like sand slipping through fingers. Yes, that's it. The longhouse creaks again. A sound like an old boat at sea. Not harsh, just old, just alive. You imagine all the nights this place has seen. Storms, births, feasts, sickness, love, loneliness, stories, laughter. All of it, absorbed into the wood, stored like memories in the beams above you. You wonder, can a house remember? Can it miss you? Can it welcome you back? Yes, maybe. If you listen close enough, if you breathe deep enough. The roof above you is thick, layered with turf and reeds. And old magic, rain used to slip through in the early years. But now, it's tight, strong. It hums when the wind moves over it, low, comforting, like a lullaby sung by stone and timber. You imagine the builders, their hands, their patience, their quiet pride. You imagine the first fire ever lit here, how it must have felt, to push back the dark, to see walls come alive in orange light, to feel home grow around you. The air is dry now. The fire, nearly a memory, but the heat is still caught in the stones, still wrapped in fur, still held in breath and skin. You rub your hands together, slowly, not because you're cold, just because it feels good. The roughness of your fingertips, the sound of skin on skin, familiar, alive. You press your palm gently to your chest. Feel your own heartbeat, slow, steady, still here, still yours. A child begins to whimper in sleep, not loudly, just a sound of something half remembered. Their mother stirs, only slightly. Her hand reaches out, finds them in the dark. A whisper, a touch. The child settles, back into the hush, back into the warmth. You watch it all with half-closed eyes, and you think, this is what safety looks like. Not a wall, not a sword, just a mother's hand in the dark. Just someone knowing you're there. The fire pops. A log cracks gently in its sleep. A few sparks swirl up, like tiny red birds, flying nowhere. You smile. Even fire dreams, maybe, of forests, of sun, of being alive. The coals settle again, softer now, deeper. You can barely see them, but you know they're there, waiting for morning, waiting to rise again. Like everything else, someone rolls over. Their fur makes a soft dragging sound on the floor. No one wakes. Not really, just adjusting, rebalancing, like a leaf floating in water. No splash, just a shift, and then, stillness again. Stillness. Yes, that's the word tonight is built from. Stillness, wrapped in wood, and breath, and memory. The goats are quiet now, even in the stall near the far wall. No more shifting hooves. No low bleats. Just sleep. Even the animals know when night has folded in fully. When the world is wrapped up, like a child in a blanket, you hear nothing but your own breath, and the house's breath, and the echo of fire, and the hum of dreams. It's like being inside a heartbeat, wrapped in a drum made of history and hide. Yes, that's what this is. You feel something in your chest. Not a thought, not even a feeling, just warmth, like a tiny ember behind your ribs. It doesn't want anything. It doesn't speak. It just is. Like everything else in this house. Like sleep. It curls deeper into you. And you let it. You don't need to understand. Just feel it. Let it carry you. There's a smell now. Very faint. Almost gone. But it lingers. Charred wood, pine, wool, skin. And maybe, just maybe, something sweet. Could be berries. Could be honey. Could be nothing. Could be a memory. Wrapped in scent. Doesn't matter. You inhale deeply. Let it fill you. Let it hold you. The longhouse creaks again. A sound like an old boat at sea. Not harsh. Just old. Just alive. You imagine all the nights this place has seen. Storms. Births. Feasts. Sickness. Love. Loneliness. Stories. Laughter. All of it. Absorbed into the wood. Stored like memories in the beams above you. You wonder, can a house remember? Can it miss you? Can it welcome you back? Yes, maybe. If you listen close enough, if you breathe deep enough. The roof above you is thick, layered with turf and reeds. And old magic, rain used to slip through in the early years. But now, it's tight, strong. It hums when the wind moves over it, low, comforting, like a lullaby sung by stone and timber. You imagine the builders, their hands, their patience, their quiet pride. You imagine the first fire ever lit here, how it must have felt, to push back the dark, to see walls come alive in orange light, to feel home grow around you. The air is dry now. The fire, merely a memory, but the heat is still caught in the stones, still wrapped in fur, still held in breath and skin. You rub your hands together, slowly, not because you're cold, just because it feels good. The roughness of your fingertips, the sound of skin on skin, familiar, alive. You press your palm gently to your chest, feel your own heartbeat, slow, steady, still here, still yours. A child begins to whimper in sleep, not loudly, just a sound of something half remembered. Their mother stirs, only slightly. Her hand reaches out, finds them in the dark, a whisper, a touch. The child settles, back into the hush, back into the warmth. You watch it all with half-closed eyes, and you think, this is what safety looks like. Not a wall, not a sword, just a mother's hand in the dark. Just someone knowing you're there. The fire pops, a log cracks gently in its sleep. A few sparks swirl up, like tiny red birds, flying nowhere. You smile, even fire dreams maybe, of forests, of sun, of being alive. The coals settle again, softer now, deeper. You can barely see them, but you know they're there, waiting for morning, waiting to rise again, like everything else. Someone rolls over, their fur makes a soft dragging sound on the floor. No one wakes, not really, just adjusting, rebalancing, like a leaf floating in water. No splash, just a shift, and then, stillness again. Stillness. Yes, that's the word tonight is built from. Stillness, wrapped in wood, and breath, and memory. The goats are quiet now, even in the stall near the far wall. No more shifting hooves, no low bleats, just sleep. Even the animals know when night has folded in fully. When the world is wrapped up, like a child in a blanket, you hear nothing but your own breath, and the house's breath, and the echo of fire, and the hum of dreams. It's like being inside a heartbeat, wrapped in a drum made of history and hide. Yes, that's what this is. You feel something in your chest, not a thought, not even a feeling, just warmth, like a tiny ember behind your ribs. It doesn't want anything, it doesn't speak, it just is, like everything else in this house, like sleep. It curls deeper into you, and you let it. You don't need to understand, just feel it, let it carry you. There's a smell now. Very faint, almost gone, but it lingers. Charred wood, pine, wool, skin, and maybe, just maybe, something sweet. Could be berries, could be honey, could be nothing, could be a memory, wrapped in scent, doesn't matter. You inhale deeply, let it fill you, let it hold you. A deep breath now. Yours. Yes, there it is. And the next one, slower, fuller, more certain. You close your eyes completely. This time, no thoughts follow. Just the room. Just the people. Just the longhouse. Still, soft, breathing. You imagine the morning far away, still behind the mountains. Still sleeping too. You'll need it later. Not now. Now is for being still. Now is for drifting. Now is for sleep. And sleep is already here. Something changes again. Not much. Just a soft feeling. Like the air has turned slightly. Still dark. Still deep into the night. But the silence now feels thicker. Heavier. More complete. Like the world is truly asleep. You let that weight settle over you. Like a second blanket. Or a warm hand. You don't move. You just notice. And breathe. Someone coughs lightly. A short sound. Then quiet again. Your mind registers it. Then lets it go. That's how things pass in here. Like snowflakes. They land. Then melt away. You blink slowly. Eyes just barely open. You see nothing new. Only familiar shapes. Soft fur. A wooden beam. A basket half covered. A shadow. Everything in its place. Everything still. You wonder about the others sleeping near you. What are they dreaming? Do they see the same things? The same sky? The same fire? The same woods? Do they dream of sailing? Of home? Of voices long gone? Or nothing at all? Just warmth, breath, and silence? Doesn't matter. Dreams don't need to make sense. They're like waves. They come and go. You can ride them, or let them carry you. The fire is just coals now. No light. Only the memory of it. A soft red glow buried in ash. Even the logs look tired. They've done their job. Held the night. Warmed the bones. And now they sleep too. It's strange. How even fire rests. Even heat returns to the earth. Even flames bow to the quiet. You hear something. Not loud. But a small creak. A sound of leather maybe. Or wood shifting. A door. No. Just a dream of a door. A ghost of a step. Nothing real. Nothing sharp. Your breath stays slow. Your heart does not hurry. Even the unexpected feels soft in this place. Like the longhouse smooths out every sound. Wraps it in fur. Holds it gently. Before letting it fade. You feel your toes now. Just barely. A warmth. A tingling. As if the heat from the day is still hiding in your skin. You curl them a little. Wiggle once. Then stop. That's enough. No need to move more. Stillness is its own kind of comfort, like being a rock in a stream, letting the world flow around you. Your ear catches a sound from outside, a soft rustling, not threatening, more like wind playing with the grass, or an owl turning its head, or snow falling in clumps. Wait, snow, could it be? Maybe. The air has that feel, thick, heavy with cold, clean, like the breath of ice. You smile. Just slightly. The roof above you is strong. The turf is thick. The cold won't reach you here. Not tonight. Maybe not ever. Someone shifts on the far end of the longhouse. A foot slides softly. A quiet murmur. A fur being tugged. Then stillness again. You wonder if they woke. If they saw the fire. Or thought of a face. Or simply needed more warmth. Even in sleep, the body knows what to do. How to turn. How to breathe. How to seek comfort. You trust it. You let your body do the work. You let it settle deeper into the straw. Your arm slips further under the pillow. Your cheek sinks. There. That's it. There's a smell now. Again. Soft. Almost like dried herbs. Sage maybe. Or birch. Could be from the hanging bundles near the rafters. The women dry them all year. For healing. For flavor. For magic. Some say certain herbs keep the spirits away. Others say they invite good ones in. Who knows? Maybe both. All you know is the scent is gentle. earthy, clean, and something about it feels like memory. You recall a time, you're not even sure when, but the house was filled with singing. Low, many voices. Soft drumming on the floor. A hand tapping a wooden bowl. It wasn't loud. Not a celebration. Something else. Maybe a farewell. Maybe a birth. But it felt sacred. You remember watching the embers glow while the voices rose. Each sound like a thread, woven into the smoke. And you thought, even sadness can be beautiful when shared. You hear a man snore just once. A loud sound, then silence, then a deep sigh. He's gone again. You smile. Sleep takes everyone in its own way. Some go quietly. Some stumble in. Some drift. Some drop. But in the end, we all get there. Eventually. Yes, you're nearly there too. Not quite, but close. Close enough that your thoughts no longer walk. They float, like little leaves, turning slowly in the dark. A sudden shift in light, not fire, not moon, but something, a pale glow along the edge of the door frame. Could be starlight, could be snowlight, or maybe the very first breath of dawn. No, not yet. It's still the deepest part of night. The hour that forgets time, the hour that belongs to breath, and wood, and nothing else. Still, the light is kind, not harsh, just present, like a promise. You let your thoughts return to the people, each body, a shape under fur, each breath, a quiet rhythm, each life, a story told in silence. You imagine their dreams as tiny tenons, glowing softly, each one different, each one private, but all of them held under the same roof, wrapped in the same warmth, protected by the same wood. The longhouse is not just shelter. It's a cradle, a cocoon, a world, and you are inside it, floating, safe, still. The chickens haven't stirred, not yet. The goats remain quiet. The cows will not moo until the light fully returns. You know their schedule by heart, and their stillness now is your stillness too. You match them. You mirror the herd. You breathe like they do, slow. No fear, no hunger, just presence. That's all that's needed here, to be here, and to be still. The ashes have cooled, no more glow, but the warmth remains, trapped in the stones, in the skins, in your own breath. You pull the fur up higher, just under your chin, and in that moment, you realize, there's nothing missing, not a single thing you need, not one worry to chase, not one task to carry, only this, only now, only this breath, and the next. The roof creaks again, a soft groan, like it's dreaming, like it remembers every storm it survived, every winter it has swallowed, every morning it has given back to the world. It's proud, in its own quiet way. You run your fingers along the edge of the wooden beam beside you. Rough, old, but strong. You press your hand there, not to hold on, but to say thank you. Thank you for the stillness, the shelter, the silence, the sleep. Yes, your eyelids are heavy, your breath is slower now. Your legs don't move, your thoughts barely whisper. You are exactly where you should be, in the heart of the night. In the arms of a longhouse, in the silence of a time long past, but still alive, in the quiet, in the warmth, in the breath between now and morning. Just stay. No need to rise, no need to think. Let the night carry you, let the wood hold you, let the straw whisper to your bones. Everything you need is here, stillness, warmth, breath, sleep. You're ready now, no more drifting, no more holding on. You close your eyes, let the last thought fall away, and sink, softly, quietly, completely, into the hush. Something faint stirs in the dark. Not a sound, not a shape, but a feeling. As if the world outside the longhouse has turned slightly in its sleep. Just a little shift. Maybe the stars have moved. Or the wind has curled back around from a new corner of the woods. Whatever it is, it doesn't wake you, it only brushes past your resting thoughts, like a feather, or a dream that never fully arrived. Stillness holds, long and thick, the kind of stillness that feels like velvet, soft, deep, and endless. You are not thinking anymore, just noticing. Your chest rises gently. The fur itches the bottom of your chin. Your toes, warm and curled, a finger against wood, the softest grain. You're not fully here, but not quite gone either. You're inside the in-between, that quiet place where sleep is not just rest, but time travel. There's a scent again. Barely there, it clings to the dry roof straw. Sweet, smoky, maybe even salty. You wonder if it's from dried fish, the ones hanging near the rafters, preserved for winter. Even food dreams in the longhouse. Even salt finds peace. You hear the faintest breath, not your own. Someone is snoring gently, not like a bear. No, like waves, like a shore that sighs each time the water leaves and returns. It's steady, comforting. You picture a face half covered in furs, mouth slightly open, eyebrows soft, their breath misting faintly in the cold. You don't know their name. You don't need to. In here, everyone belongs. Even the sounds of sleep are shared. A small creak in the rafters. No rush, just wood doing what wood does. Stretching, remembering, breathing. You can almost hear the age in it. That long beam above you. It came from a tree older than any living soul in this village. Cut with care, hauled on shoulders, lifted by rope, set in place with songs and mud and hope. And it has stayed, watching, sheltering, listening. A roof is not just a roof in a Viking longhouse. It is memory and promise. Someone coughs gently. A child, You picture them wrapped in wool, curled between two elders, their head resting against someone's ribs, their hand grasping someone's sleeve. Safe. Even sickness here feels softer, because the warmth wraps it, because the night is kind. You shift slightly, not much, just your shoulder rolling deeper into straw, and the straw answers with a whisper. It crinkles, it releases its scent, something between dust and sun-dried grass. Not unpleasant, almost sweet. You feel it against your skin, like memory, like summer, trapped in threads of winter. You remember something now. A summer day, the first time you helped change the bedding straw, a task given only once the frost had left for good. You pulled the old straw from the beds, saw the blackened bits, felt the cold that still lived deep in its core. Then came the fresh stuff, golden, fluffy, bright. You patted it down with your hands. You helped shape the new sleep nests. You didn't know then that straw could be holy, but now lying here, you understand. There's a pop in the fire pit. Still glowing, not quite, but maybe one tiny coal lives on, deep inside the ash. It hasn't given up. It waits. It hums quietly. You like that. Even the smallest warmth refuses to fade too fast. Just like you, just like everyone here. Someone shifts a bowl, the sound of wood tapping wood. Perhaps someone dreamed of food, or touched something in sleep, but no one rises, no one speaks. Words are too sharp for this hour. Only breath is welcome now. Only hush, only softness. You wonder again, what time is it? And then you smile. Because time doesn't live here. Not really. In the longhouse, there is only light and dark, warm and cold, waking and sleeping, and sometimes all of them blend. You feel safe in the blur. Another memory stirs. A winter from long ago. The year the snow piled higher than a man, when the roof beams groaned every morning under the weight. You remember the fire burning longer those nights. The adults keeping watch in turns. The children wrapped together like little firewood bundles. Even the goats slept closer. And outside, the world was white and silent, like sleep had covered the earth itself. That was the year you learned what cold really meant, but also what warmth could do. It wasn't the fire alone. It was the people, the closeness, the breath of many hearts beating in the same room. Yes, that's what this place is. A beating heart of warmth. The silence now is different. Not deeper, not louder, just older, like the longhouse has remembered something, and decided to share its silence with you. A gift. You take it. Hold it gently in your chest. You don't think. You don't need to. Thinking is for the sun. Sleeping is for the dark. You feel the weight of your limbs. Heavy, but not tired. Just done. Done moving. Done worrying. done needing, only existing now, like a stone in a stream, still, solid, softened by the water. The wind picks up again. Outside, you hear it in the thatch. It rushes, but not fiercely. It sounds like a story, the kind only the trees can understand, the kind the roof keeps just for itself. It flows around the longhouse, brushes against the walls, then moves on. It doesn't ask to come in. It knows its place. Outside belongs to the wind, inside belongs to sleep. Your thoughts begin to flicker now. You try to hold them, but they slip away. One is a feather, one is a hand, one is the shape of a mother's face. They all drift, and you don't chase them. A tiny crackle from the fire pit again, just one, then nothing. Even the coals have stories. Even the ash remembers. This ash, from yesterday's wood, that wood, from last month's tree, that tree, from years of sunlight and storms. Now dust, now silence, now home. The floor creaks, a single board letting out its breath. You do too. You didn't realize you'd been holding it. You dream again, but your eyes are open, sort of. The line between waking and dreaming, gone now. You see shapes that aren't there. A ship, a wave, a hammer, a deer, a face. But none of them stay. None demand attention. Just soft echoes of other nights, other dreams, other yous. Someone stirs near the center. Their fur slides. A cough, a whisper. They're asleep again. Like you, mostly asleep. But enough here, to hear, to feel, to be, and not be. You let your thoughts sink again, down into the straw, into the earth, into the floor that holds the longhouse, into the world that holds the floor. Down, down, until you are part of it all, not separate, not awake, just placed. Yes. The night is still thick, but the edge is coming. Not fast, just gently. A promise, a hush before the hush ends. But not yet, not now. Now is for rest. One more breath, and another, no need to count. They'll come. You just let them, let everything, let go. The last sound you hear is a footstep. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe just your heartbeat, echoing softly in a longhouse that has held hundreds like you, and will hold hundreds more. A shelter of wood, of breath, of warmth, of sleep. And that's where you stay, not rising, not falling, just floating, in the center of the stillness. You're not awake, but something is. Some small corner of your thoughts is gently flickering, not loud, not sharp, just a dim little candle inside your dreaming mind. Maybe it's the change in the air, maybe the silence has shifted, or maybe it's your body, sensing what time it is without needing a sun. But even still, you do not move. You stay, held, tucked, melted into straw and furs, and warmth and night. You let your ears open, just a little. The room is still a cradle of silence, but not empty. No, it's full of sleeping sounds. Not from dreams, from people. The breath of 12 different lungs, the stretch of old knees, the soft murmur of someone deep inside a dream. Even a baby's breath, so light, you'd miss it unless you were listening very, very close. The fire is only memory now. No glow, just a round shape in the dark center of the longhouse. But you remember where it was, where the heat rose, where the food sizzled, where the stories spun like yarn into the smoky rafters. Stories. You remember some, from earlier this very night. There was one about a sea giant, and one about the goat that climbed the god's tree. There was laughter, and hands stirring stew, and a pause when someone spilled water across their fur cloak. And now all those voices are resting, curled under sleep, but you can still hear their echoes, faint, friendly, drifting softly through the beams and woolen curtains of the longhouse. You turn your head just a little. The wood under your cheek is cool. Ah, the air has changed, just a whisper of it. The deep cold is still outside, but inside the warmth has thinned. It's the hour before warmth returns. A time of waiting, still not dawn, but near. Someone stirs. You feel the furs move near your hip. A child, perhaps. Maybe they're dreaming of snow, or maybe they just needed to turn over. You hear a sigh, a little huff of air, not unhappy, just sleepy, like the room itself is breathing. You can smell the longhouse again. Not sharp, but full. Wood, wool, ash, smoke, hay, salt, feet, life. It's not bad, not clean either, but familiar, like an old song, played quietly, and you don't want to leave it. Even in your sleep, you want to stay wrapped inside this scent. Your fingers shift inside your sleeve, wool against skin, rough, but soft in its own way. The way bark can feel smooth when your hands are cold. You notice how the sleeve bunches near your elbow, and how your thumb feels warm and pressed against your thigh. Simple, but full, like being a tree, or a stone, or a quiet animal that doesn't need to think, just feel, and breathe. The straw beneath you murmurs again, like it remembers you, like it's saying, still here, and you smile, even if only in your thoughts. You sense a dream nearby, not quite inside your head yet, but approaching. You see shapes, a carved boat, a fox running over snow, your mother's hand, and then, nothing, like fog, but a good fog, the kind that hides the world just enough to make it gentle. You stay in it, you don't push, you drift. Something thuds softly, not near you, across the room, a pot falling sideways, or a goat bumping its side against the wall in sleep, or maybe the beam above settling again. All of it feels right, nothing sharp, nothing wrong, just part of the night's story. Someone whispers something. You don't catch the words. It's more like a sound from a dream, spoken half in another world. You imagine an old woman turning over, pulling her furs tighter. You imagine her whispering a name from long ago, or a prayer, or a joke only she remembers. You smile again. These people around you, you may not know all their names, but they know yours. And that's enough. Outside, you hear something new. Birds? No, not yet, but the wind sounds different, like it's circling the longhouse, testing, thinking, maybe wondering when the people inside will wake. But it doesn't push. It waits, just like you. You think about the roof again, about the beams, the thatch, the layers of smoke and time pressed into every fiber. This roof has kept out rain, snow, wolves, and fear. It has seen generations come and go, children born under it, old ones, buried in the frost beyond its walls. This roof is more than shelter, it's memory. You whisper a thank you, not aloud, just inside your chest. The roof hears. You're not sure how long you've been lying here. Time has folded itself into sleep. Maybe it's been hours, maybe just moments, but it doesn't matter. Nothing demands you. No one needs you to rise. No hunger yet. No work, only peace. A soft chime in your thoughts. A bell? No, just the silence changing shape again, like it's beginning to loosen. The tight blanket of night, slowly pulling back at the corners. Still no light, not even a hint, but the dark feels less heavy. Yes, something stirs, not around you, inside you. You remember a morning once, when the snow outside the door was so deep, the sun made it look blue. You'd woken early, the fire was out, your breath came in clouds, but you didn't mind, because the light that came later was gold, like a blessing, and it always came, just like it would today, but not yet, not quite. So you stay, just a little longer, inside this perfect dark. The goat snorts softly in its pen. You almost laugh. Even they are dreaming. You wonder what goats dream of. Probably moss, or crunchy lichen, or climbing, simple things. Like you. There's a cough again, another child, still quiet. You hear a hand rubbing a back, a mother's voice, just breath, not words, soothing, slow. Even in the dark, love finds its way. A foot touches yours under the furs, not cold, not rough, just there, a shared touch. Maybe someone dreaming reached out, or maybe you moved closer in sleep. It doesn't matter. You don't pull away. You let the touch be part of your dream, a sign that you're not alone, never alone here. You think about all the things this longhouse has seen. Storms, feasts, songs, silence, maybe even grief, but it holds them all the same way, with warmth, with wood, with straw and stone and breath, and now, with you, sleeping here, part of the story now, another breath, Deeper now. Your lungs feel full. You sink further, not falling, not fading, just settling. Like a stone in a slow river. Still, whole, safe, and the longhouse holds you, just as it always does. And you stay, there, in the hush, wrapped in furs, surrounded by straw, held by old wood, touched by air that hasn't decided to become morning yet. And you wait with it, as sleep cradles you, just a little longer, just a little deeper, and all is still. The world is still, but not quite the same. Something is changing. You feel it. You hear it. A softness in the air. Turning, the long night is beginning to lift. Not with a sound, not with a light, but with a feeling. A sigh from the sky. You haven't moved. Not in a long while. Your body is still tucked beneath the furs. Your toes still curled beneath the edge of the blanket. Your face resting gently on the straw. Your chest rising and falling like slow waves. And yet, your mind is drifting upward. Not awake, but close, floating. You hear the longhouse breathing. All of it. Every wall. Every wooden beam. Every straw bundle. Every sleeping soul. Still dreaming, but less deeply now. The darkness is giving way, not to light, but to gray. A soft blue-gray silence. The kind that comes before the first bird sings. Before the first goat stretches its legs. Before even the fire remembers to wake up. Your breath fogs just a little. It feels cooler now, but not unpleasant. It feels honest, clean, like the world taking its first breath again. You don't mind the cold. Not here. Not now. It is the kind of cold that tells you, you made it through the night. Yes, the long night. Safe and quiet. With the wind wrapped around the roof and the sky full of stars you never saw. But still, you were there. And now, the morning is tiptoeing into your dream. A rooster crows far away, very far. Just one short call, and then silence again. No one else stirs. Not yet, but the sound is like a ripple, spreading quietly through the village. Not loud enough to shake anyone. Just a reminder. Soon. You feel your fingers again. They're warm. Your legs are stiff, but soft, still curled in the same way they were hours ago. You shift one hand beneath the furs, rubbing your thumb slowly against the cloth of your tunic. Wool and skin and warmth. Still safe. Still here. There's a creak above you. A bird maybe. Or the roof stretching. Everything feels older in the morning, but stronger too, like the longhouse is waking up with you. You hear a breath nearby, not yours. Someone turns. A child whispers something. Not words, just a sound, like a little song made inside sleep. It floats up, gentle as smoke, and disappears. You smile. Barely. Even your smile is still half asleep. You let your eyes rest. No need to open them yet. Everything you need is already here. The goats move. One kicks softly in the pen. The scent of hay mixes with the cold air. And just for a moment, you remember feeding them the night before. You remember the weight of the hay in your arms. The soft noises they made as they ate. The way the fire flickered on their horns. And now, here they are again. Alive, safe, waiting. You feel the house lean around you. Not physically, but in presence. In peace, in memory, the way old places do when they've held generations. This longhouse is more than wood and earth. It's a witness. It remembers hands that built it, feet that danced on its floor, teeth that laughed and cried, babies born, weddings blessed, winter storms survived. You are part of that now. A quiet part, but still, part. The fire pit is cold. Only ashes now, soft and gray, but you remember its warmth. You remember the crackle, the dancing flame, the smell of cooked meat, the bubbling pot, and you know it will return. Tonight, the fire always returns, like the stories, like the songs, like the sleep. You pull the fur closer to your chin, just a little. There is no rush. The others are still dreaming. The roof is still holding the cold at bay. The wind is still quiet. There's time. So much time. You drift again. There is movement near the far end. A rustling. Someone rising. No, just shifting. A blanket being turned. A leg stretching. Not yet. Not rising yet. only adjusting. Not waking. The Longhouse knows how to sleep in shifts. Not all at once. Like the sea. Like trees. Like snow. Some things move, some stay still, and everything remains whole. You think of your dreams. Faint, soft shapes. Snow. Water. The sound of someone chopping wood. A white bird. A fish that glowed like moonlight. You don't try to remember more. They are fading, and that's okay. They served you well. They kept you warm. Wrapped around your mind like another blanket. The wind outside stirs the doorway. You hear the skin flap shift. The leather covering that keeps the cold out. It lifts for a moment. Just a breath. Then settles. The chill doesn't reach you. Not quite. But it reminds you. The world is still out there. A wide snowy field. A frozen river. Bare trees against a pale sky. You can almost see it. But you don't need to yet. You think of the floor beneath you. Earth. Not stone. Not boards. Just packed earth. It feels alive. It always has. In summer it's warm. In spring it smells like rain. Now it's firm and cold. But familiar. It's what your ancestors slept on. It's what you were born on. And now it holds you like it always has. You whisper thank you again. Soft. Maybe only in your thoughts. But the ground hears. Another rooster. This one a bit closer. And this time, a stir. A breath. A yawn. Someone sits up. You hear the shift of furs. The sound of knuckles cracking. A quiet word. A half laugh. Still no fire. Still no light. But morning is here. Not full. Not loud. Just peeking. You stay a little longer. Eyes still closed. The roof above is still shadowed. No golden beam yet. But you can feel it waiting. Just beyond the thatch. Just behind the sky. What a long night. What a peaceful night. You didn't just sleep. You lived inside sleep. You curled in its arms. You listened to it breathe. You tasted its stillness. And now you're rising out of it slowly. Like a stone rising with the tide. You hear a pot being moved. A child's voice. A soft mumble. The day has begun. But you can stay. Just a little longer. Inside this moment. Your arms stretch slowly. You yawn. Not loud. Just enough to make your ribs shift. Yes. Yes, you're waking. But gently. Like a blanket sliding off. Not thrown. Not rushed. Just letting go. The fire will be lit again. The goats will be fed. Bread will be baked. Snow will be swept from the doorway. There will be voices. And chores. And meat and porridge and wooden bowls. But not yet. For now, stillness. Peace. Soft breath. Quiet heart. Warm toes. Slow thoughts. A Viking Longhouse at dawn. You remember this night. Even as it fades. You carry its hush. Its rhythm. You will sleep again. You will return. And maybe, just maybe, somewhere in the beams. In the ash. In the grain of the old wood. This night remembers you too. So rest now. Or rise slow. But know this. You belonged here. Perfectly. Quietly. Entirely. If you are still awake, then I think you have to see the video from 19th minute of the story. Or play this side video as may it can help you sleep better. Goodbye.